business license code enforcement officers. Again, same question relative to code enforcement. Where are we today? What's our baseline? And how can we improve the level of service and the outcomes to enhance the general fund? Because again, I have no problem supporting additional staff members, but will it increase the general fund? And will it improve the collections and mitigate the violations that we have? Because if that is not the case, or or it does not make any sense financially, I'm going to ask that people exit. Thank you. If it does not, if it does not take us where we need to go, we need to consider other options, because our taxpayers deserve the service and the level of service that they are paying for. They're not getting it currently, so we need to figure out how we get there. Page 18, I just wanted to clarify. It says that under number 9, reduce general operating expenses by eliminating non-charter commission stipends. And so this, again, is just to eliminate the stipends, not the commissions. Can you confirm?
Yes.
Okay. And I hate to come back later and it said it was a typo. Just wanted to confirm. Page 20, number 11, create a special event division in Parks and Recreation. I also do not support this, and I'm still waiting on the audit relative to events at Dollar High reconcile with the number of events and the actual funds being collected. We've addressed this several times, and I'd like to see this report before we move forward into the next budget year.
Okay, just Dollar High, or just all the special events?
All for the special events for specific to Dollar High.
Okay.
Or under Parks and Recreation's purview, because the council received a dollar figure from Parks and Recreation, but we weren't able to reconcile the number of events or the actual hours that were being expended to carry on those events. I just want to know if we received or we recouped $60,000 per year for events at Dollar High, how many events does that translate to, and are we charging the standard amount? Because I've received, and we've all received, allegations that some people get special rates, so this information should be standard. And it should be readily available if we're doing our proper accounting, and if we're not, then we need to change that. Page 24, item number 15, under adopting a 3-year infrastructure street improvement plan. Public Works provided a very comprehensive presentation to the council, which I greatly appreciate, which included a 5-year plan. And so this 5-year plan that was presented publicly, that should be brought forward to the council to approve, to actually ratify and make those expenditures a part of the budget for every budget year. I would, since we were presented with a 5-year, I would like a 5-year plan, and whichever expenditures were identified for this fiscal year, that should be a part of the budget on a line item, and we actually should approve those plans so that those expenditures are set in stone and would require additional change regardless of who sits on the council. These are the items and priorities that the citizens want and that we represent, and we're implementing their wants and wishes. Specifically because some of the items had different sources of funds, and so we need to lock in how those funds are being spent. Lastly, under, bless you, lastly, under the investment in staff training, I totally support this, and I just like a comprehensive plan being brought to the council that ensures that we're meeting our policy objectives as well. I know customer service is a big item on our list because it interfaces with the residents, so I just want to ensure that they are receiving the adequate training. I know many council members have requested staff get different types of training, and we implement some customer service improvements. And so I'd like to just be able to see a robust plan being presented that can, number one, hold all of us accountable in terms of how we interface with our constituents, but number two, improve the level of service over time. I understand that this is a process, and we're now at the point this fiscal year to reinvest in staff training, and the staff members deserve it. We're all a team, but we need to be able to see where we are currently and where we need to go in the next couple of years. Thank you. You know, I'll save that, table that for the council meeting because we do need to go to public comment. And so we're opening the floor now to members of the public. I'm sorry? Oh, because of the time, Madam City Clerk has instructed me that we need to proceed forward with public items. Public comments only on workshop items, and the 2 other agenda items will be tabled to the next workshop, publicly scheduled workshop, for the sake of time. Are there any members of the public that wishes to speak to the presented workshop recommendations, budget workshop recommendations? Not, Madam City Clerk, we will proceed forward, and just to encourage members of the public, you will have an opportunity to speak at the regularly scheduled council meeting, and we also have regularly scheduled workshops that you also will be able to participate in. And if, for those of you that did not view this meeting, it is available online. You can go back and review and ask your questions at a later budget workshop as well. Thank you. Madam City Clerk?
Close.
May we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes. We're going to take a brief recess, about 2 to 3 minutes maximum. Thank you. quick announcement. Oh, they can't hear me. Testing, testing. Testing. I have a quick announcement for members of the audience. There is a silver Mercedes-Benz license plate 5AD as in David, P as in Paul, 519 that left your window down, and there are several items in your vehicle. Thank you. Just a couple of additional moments. Oh, they cut me off already. I'm full enough. Okay, no problem.
Hi, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you for your patience. We needed an opportunity to get our Spanish language audience members connected, and so we will now commence the Compton City Council meeting. It is Tuesday, May 8th, 2018, 5:50 p.m. If you could all please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Let us begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita. Here. Galvane.
Present.
McCoy. Here. Sharif.
Here.
Mayor Brown.
Here. We will now proceed forward to public comments on agenda and non-agenda matters. First speaker of the evening is K.W. Toulis.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, other elected city managers. I stand here today on behalf of our Congresswoman Barragan. She wanted me to come and make sure we said a very special thank you to, can you hear me now? All right. We want to say a very special thank you to the entire city of Compton for coming out, being a part of the water town hall that took place on last week in the city of Compton. We would like to thank the council for showing up and being present, and the city manager for being a part. I wanted to also share with the residents that we do have the water damage and loss claim form for any resident who have experienced any type of loss or damage due to the problem with the Sativa Water District. We do have those forms available. They will be in our office here at Compton City Hall. You're welcome to come by and pick that up. Also, we want to continue to encourage those who are in need to pick up the temporary bottled water that's being held at the Sativa Water District office. I want to also take this time to invite clergy, interfaith, community leaders to the Congresswoman First annual prayer breakfast and legislation update. This will be taking place on May the 19th at 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the WOCAC community building. All clergy, all pastors, all religious leaders are all welcome to come and be a part of this special legislation briefing. Also, I want to also announce that we are in the process of planning stage 2 because of the demand of the residents of the district. We're going to be planning stage 2 of the Water Town Hall, and we're looking to host it hopefully in the month of June. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker of the evening is Irv Bennett. Mr. Bennett. Mr. Craig Henry.
Craig Henry, resident of Compton. To the mayor, distinguished council, I come before you as a citizen this evening. I work in District 2, and on the corner of Elm and Alameda, there was a horrific accident on Friday. The day before that, there was an accident. There was a memorial put out today, apparently on Friday. One of the gentlemen was killed. My staff member was in a very bad car accident right there at Alameda and Elm, right on the corner of where our office is. To date, in the last 90 days, there have been 6 really bad accidents on that corner. And I'm appealing to Councilman Gilvan, being your district, if you could come out or send someone out to take a look at that particular area. Perhaps a flashing red light over the stop sign might be something that would grasp the attention of individuals. But at this particular point, the accident is occurring because there is no stop sign, of course, over the train tracks. But people, the sheriff, thank you all so very much, had 2 motorcycles there. And I watched from my office as they gave 10 people tickets at that corner this morning for not stopping. It is real, real bad. Children walk back and forth across the streets. Residents live right there at that particular corner. And I'm sure you all are aware, or if you're not, I hope I can bring it to your attention. That corner is very, very dangerous. And something at this point needs to be done. As I indicated, one of my staff was in an accident that was so bad, his car was totaled out. He was off work for quite some time. Thank God he recovered and he's back now. But that's been within the past 6 months. Something needs to be done at that corner. Now, I understand the great district of District 2, with great representation of you, Mr. Gilvan, and with the influence that I'm sure you have in the community, there is something that we can do to save lives. We're not talking about a hit and run. We're talking about death now, where people are being killed on that corner. Something, I don't know what, I'm not a traffic person, but I'm quite sure that we have something within our resources here in the city of Compton where someone can go out, Mr. City Manager as well, and really check that corner. It was really saddened my staff to see the accident which we saw and then to see the makeshift memorial out there. Quite sad. Thank you.
Mr. City Manager, can you send your staff out there to do a study on possibly putting a flashing light, or if there's anything we could do in the meantime to make sure that that doesn't happen again? And also, I requested sometime last year, I want to say towards the beginning and middle, for a flashing light on Santa Fe and Oak Street, because that's a bus stop and that's where the cars fly down going to Linwood. I think you were the city manager at the time, and I was told that a study was going to be done, and I haven't heard nothing back about the study, as well as, I don't want to, well, it's okay. Maybe you can follow up with that.
Thank you. The next speaker is Ms. Joanne Hartfield.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, I'm here for the same reason. I didn't know that he was here for the same. But, yes, I lived on that corner for 17 years. And unfortunately, this is the first death that we saw. but I saw plenty of accidents there that was major, minor, you know, whatever you want to call, serious and all that. But this was serious. And just so happened, the young man lived 3 blocks away from home. He's on his way home. So he's considered a neighbor to me. A neighbor called me, telling me she saw my video speaking today because of the memorial I saw. It broke my heart that the man passed away and he only lived 3 blocks away. I live on that corner. I done seen cars went up to his 600 building office. If it wasn't for the trees to stop the car, it would have been in that building. If it wasn't for the bricks next in the police youth center, it would have killed the kid over there. I've seen too many cars and accidents, and it's really hurt me because we are neighbors, and we seeing our major neighbors. That's all I see is neighbors is in an accident. You know, that's all I see. So that's what I'm here for, because I have a daughter. We walk that street. I'm afraid to drive down Elm and Alameda now. So my best bet is I'm coming up Rose Street, Palmer and Rose, just to get home. So that's the only reason that I'm here today, because of the death and the accident. I came here years ago myself, but I don't come to you guys meeting like that. But today, we need to take them lights off of Rosecrans and Alameda. If you can't get no stop signs quick enough, and put them stop signs. I wouldn't mind the traffic going by. I wouldn't mind the traffic waiting, because they don't wait for my school bus in the morning anyway. So a stoplight will stop them. And yes, I did see the officers there today. I seen officers in cars parked there. But it's not gonna make no difference if they gonna keep running that stop sign. I asked for the trees to be cut just so they can see the stop sign, put flashing lights down, whatever. Whatever it's gonna take to save another life. Can you guys help us on that corner?
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Hartfield.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming down today.
All right.
And I'll also send the address to the tree contractors and make sure that if the trees are blocking the sign, they'll cut them ASAP.
Thank you, Councilman. The next speaker is Mrs. Kim DeLay Manning.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First of all, to the mayor especially, because you made the announcement along with the gentleman who spoke last week regarding the young ladies getting the prom dresses. It was such a blessing because coincidentally a young lady needed some help, and she is so elated because she was able to get 2 dresses and 2 pairs of shoes. So it was really a blessing, and I thank you all, whoever was in charge. I'm supposed to send an email to them because we're going to do a collaboration for some donations to assist them in their program, but that was wonderful. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, Councilwoman McCoy, I don't know why, maybe somebody can tell me, your picture is not hanging in the sheriff's station. I meant to mention that last week, but you're not hanging. Everybody else is there. I'm just concerned. And then as far as you work on the budget, I'm concerned about you remembering the MLK Day celebration and something for Black History Month. Please don't forget. $135,000 might ring a bell, okay? And then for commissions with the budget, they receive a stipend, which is fine. I have no problem with that. But again, I'm asking for a check and balance. There are a lot of names and a lot of commission meetings, but are these people actually participating? You know, they've been appointed and they've agreed to accept the position. I just want to make sure maybe that little stipend money can help us in another category if they're really not interested. So I'd like to know about that. And lastly, you know, today the former governor of the state of California passed away, and it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. It was a government official. And we have something we do with our flags. A few weeks ago, well, when it was raining, I was in the Rosecrans Plaza, or whatever they call it now, Rosecrans and Central, and I saw the Taco Bell flag, which was ripped and it was not hanging properly. And here I go again. I took a picture and I went to confront the manager about, could we get a new flag? Can we hang it properly? And I was told that it didn't matter because it wasn't their flag. So I just wanted to let you know that this is the United States of America, and that's the flag that's supposed to be flying correctly. So we might want to look into that. I see they've since taken it down, so I don't know if they're going to place another flag there, but I'm concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. DeLay Manning. And Mr. City Manager, if we could ensure that we fly our flags half-staff in memory of the former governor for the rest of the week. Thank you, sir. Ms. Charlie Lennon.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Honorable Mayor and Council Member. My name is Charlie Maylana, and I'm from Long Beach. I'm here today to request the 700 building bullets for the 15th annual stand down. So I am requesting if we could use that building again this year.
Thank you, Ms. Lennon. I'm just going to request, Mr. City Manager, if you can bring an item forward for the council's consideration. Is there a deadline, Ms. Lennon? I know that you have
Yes,
to.
it is, and my request, another request also is too, that if you could give me a yea or nay as soon as possible, because I have a 2 weeks turnout, that if I don't do, I'm gonna lose a lot of my vendors, and I need to know. And the reason I'm here so late is because I've been getting erroneous information of what I had to do, so I came tonight myself
Okay.
to submit my application, in other words.
Is there a proposed date for the
Yes,
stand-in?
it is. It's September the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd.
Okay. If we can have an item prepared for the council's consideration.
I'm just curious, you say you're from Long Beach?
That's correct.
How come you don't do it in Long Beach?
I've done it in Long Beach for many years, but the reason I'm doing it here in Compton is because I started out 15 years ago with Miss Barbara Calhoun, also with Miss Lily Dodson. No one wanted to take it over, and we didn't want to lose it, so of course I took it over because I was with them. And also, too, I thought it was a good thing for the Compton area, so because they get so much bad publicity, and I thought perhaps that would help it out, and that's why. Mhm.
Thank you, Ms. Lennon.
Thank you all for your consideration in this matter.
Mr. Leonardo Chavez? Mr. Leonardo Chavez? Oh, yes, please come forward. We'll need a translator, I believe. He has a headset. Sir, do you need a translator? I believe so. Señor, un momento, por favor. We have someone coming down. Un momento, please.
Yeah.
They're on their way down.
Somebody,
Here it
in
is.
Spanish?
Here he is, sir.
Oh.
See.
He's gonna get a workout today.
Le damos gracias por tener este meeting.
Well, thank you for having this meeting.
Pues estamos viniendo para saber pues cuándo podríamos llegar al arreglo del agüita que todavía no está saliendo mala.
And we are here to find out when is it that we're going to be able to settle this thing about the water, because we're still having the issue that when we open the faucet, it comes out bad.
Y por eso es que estamos aquí
That's why we are here.
y esperamos tener una respuesta.
And we would like to
¿verdad?
have an answer.
¿Verdad? Y cualquier cosa que se ocupe de ayuda, pues también vamos para apoyarnos, ¿verdad? Pero,
And whatever assistance or help you may need from us, we're willing to.
¿verdad? Y como hoy en esta mañana
Like for
agarré
instance, this morning,
agua y me salió todavía sucia.
when I opened the faucet, it came out still dirty.
Y pues de parte mía yo espero seguir cuanto se pueda los meetings para llegar a un acuerdo.
And on my part, I'm going to be coming to every meeting as needed until we get a solution.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Aquí estamos cuantas veces se pueda aquí.
And here we are, as many times as it's needed.
Porque queremos la agüita que se nos componga.
Because all we want is the water to be fixed.
¿Verdad? Y otra cosa.
Oh, and something else.
Cuando arreglan la calle esa donde yo vivo, los que mandan a arreglar.
Whenever you fix the street where I'm living at,
Cuando se
whenever
revientan
you order that,
las pipas, se revientan, la reparan nomás allí y dejan el pozo donde la están arreglando.
every time that a main breaks, well, they fix it there, but they leave the ditch
No ponen para atrás
there
el cemento que estaba ahí.
without putting the cement back
¿Verdad?
as it was before. So
¿Verdad? Y por eso es de que también quería reportar yo esto.
that's the other thing that I wanted to report.
What street is it that he lives on?
Yo vivo en la calle Bliss,
I
2025
live on
East Bliss.
2025 East Bliss.
¿Verdad?
And also,
Muchas gracias. oiga.
And thank you so much.
also, to answer his question, a lot of people get confused. Maybe the city manager can answer. The city of Compton has no jurisdiction over the sativa water at all. Maybe the city manager can.
Honorable Mayor, Council, as well as the audience and the listening audience, the city of Compton we're not the water purveyors for the Sativa Water District. They are a separate body. They have their own board members, and we have no statutory or legal authority over the administration of Sativa Water or the district.
Also, just for the record, could you share when Sativa's meetings are so that they can speak with the proper board or body?
I'd have to go to their website. I'm not exactly sure when their board meetings occur, but we have attached a link on our website for Sativa Water. But I certainly encourage you to attend their board meetings to voice your concerns.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
they also, the county may be able to help and assist them. I've spoken with the city manager regarding this because I understand what their concerns are. I think all of us share their concerns. Unfortunately, since we do not have the jurisdiction of the water company, I think that the county, the Board of Supervisors may be able to help and assist them. But not only that, LAFCO may be able to help and assist them as well, as far as trying to help expedite some things there with Sativa so that it can try to get this issue addressed for them. I did ask the city manager to reach out to the county and to have someone at the county to be here today at the city council meeting where they may be able to talk to the citizens in regarding this to maybe be able to address their concerns. But I don't think anyone is here. So they may need to just try to address it with the county.
Thank you, and I am concerned about the utility improvement lines. If there are any improvements made by the City of Compton's Water Department or any other utility, we need to ensure that they're repairing the patch in a standard way. I know that we've had issues monitoring utility companies where they aren't providing the asphalt in a standard way. So I'd like to ensure that we're monitoring those closures for the utility companies if that's the case.
Okay.
And if he could, if he doesn't mind just providing his address once more for the record.
2025
2025.
East Bliss.
Thank you, sir.
And also, city manager, just in case there's no internet access, maybe one of your staff members can go online right now and get the phone number to the Sativa Water District and pass it to the gentleman, so that way they can call them and find out when their scheduled board meetings are?
Okay, I'll ask Mr. Harvey to provide him with that. And I see Ken Holcomb, who's our water director, they can provide that information to them.
And also too, just wanted to share a comment. I see the crowd that's been coming the last few weeks, and you know, when we give them the answers, I see their frustration in their face, like we don't want to help them. That's definitely not the case. It's just that there's nothing that we can do. They're governed by their own separate body, which the city of Compton has no jurisdiction over whatsoever. So we're not just trying to push the blame on them. The blame is theirs. And we're here standing with you guys, and if there's anything else that we could do, I'm sure the city staff and the entire body is working on that.
And then, oh, yes, Mr.
Madam
City
Mayor?
Attorney?
Yes, the audience and the dais should know that tomorrow morning, I believe there's a discussion regarding sativa water with LAFCO's meeting, and the audience may want to attend as well. And we'll have, I'm trying to pull up the agenda now to give you more details.
No, LAFCO meets at the Board of Supervisors downtown, but we'll provide that information for you all shortly.
And Ms. Hicks, you know that. You were on the board. You know that we can't do nothing. No, I get it.
Ms. Elizabeth Hicks? Thank you, Madam. We're also retrieving the sativa meeting time and address for you all.
Good evening, City Council. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. We are representing Sativa Water District. We live in the district of Willowbrook. And as you all know, there has been some rumors about contradictions between A.J. Brown and Annette Barragan. The reason why we're here is because we want to go ahead and let you know that Marta Barajas has been banned from city council meetings by Adolfo Varas. And we have a statement.
Could you come closer, because we can't hear you?
We have a statement right here that we would like for Norma to read. So this is pretty much all in a nutshell, the reason why Marta Barajas is not here with us today.
Okay.
And perhaps it will bring some light to everybody, the reason why she's not here today.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Norma Hernandez. Okay, Marta Barajas is a local water activist credited to bring to the light brown water conditions into Sativa District and making available over 100,000 bottles of clean water to residents. Stand as a stunning reminder of our old saying, no good deed goes unpunished. Known for her efforts, Marta Barajas is now the target of multiple supporters and recent new hires of Sativa, who in a assembly concerned effort in considerate tap and destroyed her name and reputation, have ganged up to discredit her on social media and enforced involve her in police and court actions. There is obviously a goal to silence her voice and leadership. Halts called disbanded and Sativa Water District. The Quoll residents demand for clear and safe water. The most virulent attack was launched by her recent arrival in Compton scene. Cudahy and Southgate residents Adolfo Varas, who titles himself as a real activist and accused an exclusive directed to Latino Chambers of Commerce, an organization backed by businesswoman Maria Villarreal for some many years ago. A slew of online commentaries from those who claim to acquaintance with this method paint Adolfo as a narcissist, media speaker, and problematic alligator who alleges himself his political and leaves behind a path of destruction. It is alleged Varas has been pushed out of Linwood, Cudahy, and Maywood, only to recent find his way into Compton. Adolfo Varas' first attack was to post a profoundly laced video, claimed that Marta Barajas, in words, was no activist. As she continues raiding no fairness, all effing bullshit. Who do you think you are, Martha Barajas, to effing follow people and threaten their lives? I'm an activist, and I do not.
Ma'am, your time is up.
Okay.
I'm going to request, I did want just one point of clarity. I know Ms. Hicks had indicated that there was a discrepancy between myself or the Congresswoman. I just want to be certain that the information that I have came directly from the Compton Water Department. It's not my own information. We all have access to the same information, and so I just want to make that clear. Secondly, there is a meeting going on tomorrow from LAFCO, which the city attorney indicated. It's going to be at Kenneth Hahn Hall of Administration, and that's tomorrow, Wednesday, the 9th at 9 a.m. The address is 500 West Temple Street, Los Angeles, room 381B, and they will be discussing sativa water relative to residents in the city of Compton. We do plan to have a representative there to ensure that in the time that those county islands were annexed, there was an opportunity, or if there's an opportunity, to be able to switch those residents back to Compton water. And so we'll be continuing to proceed forward. But I did want to share that information, that you do have an opportunity to speak at sativa water, to speak at the county's Board Hall of Administration tomorrow regarding this water issue. Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
And just to address Martha Barajas, unfortunately, she's not here tonight, but you see it don't stop the show, because her supporters and the people that stand behind her and the issues that they fight for are here tonight. And you know, that's what happens when you speak up and speak out about controversial issues. People want to attack you, they want to recall you, they want to subpoena you, they want to do whatever they can to try to silence you. But you see, when Martha Barajas and her neighbors got this action started against sativa water, everybody is coming out. And I mean, it was not make-believe. The water was brown. The water is brown. So we have to stand behind Martha Barajas. We can't let people that are not from our city, don't live in our city, come here and try to silence the people that really care about the people in this community, because I put my life on Martha Barajas. She cares for this community, whether it's the city issue or a school district issue. So I'm going to ask that all of us that support Martha Barajas, we know what date is important for us to really stand behind her and support her, and let's keep the struggle alive. Let's keep the fight alive. Don't let anybody silence us about the condition of our water. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you know, another thing that's important to, I've been watching this issue closely. It's important to stick with what the actual issue is, which is the brown water and how it got like that. What can we do together as a community to fix it? And sometimes when there's a cause, a worthy cause, I believe, is making the water clear. Sometimes people get caught up in personal attacks and start attacking people's character and what they did 10 years ago, and which has nothing to do with the water. So don't let people defer your concentration, and continue to focus and continue to fight for what you guys deserve and what is right.
Clean water.
Thank you. Mr. Holyfield?
Good evening. My name is Benjamin Holyfield, and I represent the Compton Business Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to send this up to you. That's pertaining to some of the good work that we've been doing, fixing Central Avenue, and et cetera, spending millions of dollars, rebranding Compton. So my thing is for us to put that sign back out, and that's what that's about, on the 91 freeway. How do you have a town with millions of dollars, with over 100,000 people, and you don't have a sign on the freeway that says you're in Compton? Now that little funny sign that somebody put up there to appease us is not acceptable. And that's the sign that cost $239,000 when it was erected, along with 17 other signs that says, "Welcome to Compton." So what we're going to have to really do is stop all this talking and get down to business.
This was the city's own
I'm very proud of action.
when we owned it.
You say something, do a plan, and get busy. There's no maybes. So I think if you can do it, you do it. At least that's what I've been doing for 38 years. Now, the next thing is, sitting up here, we have, it used to be someone giving us a report on how much money we take in. We need to know about our money, okay? We need to know how much money, we need a monthly report from the city controller. We used to have a sign there of a welcome to the city, a new city controller, and that disappeared. Now the state tells us how much money we have and what we've got to do with it. Isn't that a shame? I would like to have a controller back, or have the city treasurer give us a report instead of a report that comes to the council and then filed. The public wants to know. I want to know. Now, I didn't want to go off into these other things, but I will say this here. Number one, we need to give the sheriff the increase. And number two, I back up what Henry was saying, because I'm in that area every day. One thing is traffic is flow is too big, it's not, they speed there. They don't respect the 35-mile zone, period. I've been advocating this safety situation for a long time. This council is slow on traffic lights and taking care of safety. Number one, Greenleaf and Wilmington. People have been killed there. The school is there. All this boogaloo, and I'm sorry to say it like that, must be cut out. And that's why people are getting killed. It's because we work on something and we never get completed with it. We never get complete. Safety is first.
Thank you, Mr. Holyfield.
Thank you.
Mr. David Irons. And as Mr. Irons comes up, Mr. City Manager, could you be prepared to give an update on the left-hand turn signal on Wilmington and Greenleaf? I know that's something that Councilwoman McCoy and all of us have been tracking, and I know that we appropriated the funding, but I'd like to get an update on that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Irons, for waiting.
David Irons, resident of Compton. Cannabis sativa is the botanical name for marijuana. And the name of the company is named after marijuana. Now, why did they name it sativa? Did they know it was named after marijuana? Another thing that I tell people, I drew the plans for a place, water company over there in Compton. And I asked them to let me sample their water. It was in a container, a plastic container. They said it's been there too long. So right then and there, that water that you all are drinking might be toxic. There's a difference from, what they call that word? When something is not the same, like, I can't think of the word right now. Kind of, but sometimes I just can't think of some words, but I say them all the time. But that water is toxic. When I've been to Jamaica several times, and the goats, the animals that have kids, they would eat all the trash, but they won't eat the plastic. The goats know it's toxic, but the humans don't know it's toxic. I drink alcohol, but I drink out of glass. I don't drink out of plastic. I don't drink out of aluminum. Aluminum give you Alzheimer's. I am healthy. Hey, I'll be 66 this week. And I ain't been sick in years because I watch what I eat. You ought to look at this thing called blue gold. Blue Gold is talking about water. I mean, really. Vanishing bees as well. But see, people don't do research. If they hear from me, they discredit me because I'm not a doctor. But that water, that stuff, women have been putting plastic bottles inside of microwave ovens. Microwave ovens is poisoning them children. Microwave ovens give you thyroid. I don't eat out of a microwave oven. Ain't none in my house. I don't allow that stuff to be in my house. When a person has a bad heart, they tell them to stay away from the microwave. All right? So right there, it should give you a red sign. I'm still trying to think of that word is other than what it's supposed to be. But water is the #1 herb on earth. Pure water. Not this water that got stuff in it. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, and happy birthday, Mr. Irons.
Yeah, I'll be 66. I didn't think be honest, I didn't think I'd live to be 66 years old.
All right, Mr. Irons. Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Arnie Cooper. Mr. Arnie Cooper? Okay. Oops. Reverend Al Sanders, Sr.
Good evening, Council, citizens. Last week, I gave a few dates out on things, upcoming events in the city here. So I need to make a couple of corrections, so bear with me here. First of all, on Wednesday, tomorrow, May the 9th, there will be a youth baseball game to be held at Burrell McDonald Park. Last week, I reported this to be held at Gonzalez Park, which was wrong. So it will be tomorrow at Burrell McDonald Park, starting at 5:30. And the first pitch will be thrown out by the 1968 Olympian Ronaldo Brown, who was a citizen of Compton also. So that should be a real special event. And then on Friday, May 11th, there will be a Mother's Day luncheon held at the Dollar Heights Center, and that's starting at 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. And there'll be a special Historical Society exhibit and cake cutting ceremony for the city of Compton as we celebrate 130 years here in the great city, the hub city of Compton, California. And then Saturday, Saturday, starting from the Dollar High Community Center, there'll be Spirit of Compton tours. First tour will be at 10 a.m., approximately 2.5 hours. And the second tour will leave approximately at 1 p.m. And these tours are free. And the buses will seat 30 individuals, so it's on a first-come, first-served basis, and there is no fee. And the tours will be throughout the city of Compton. And they're very, very interesting. There are places here for which I didn't know existed, and I'm a long-time resident of Compton that took me by surprise. And also in closing, I'd just like to say a good friend in Compton, Patriot, was called home. And that's Leon Harper, who passed on, I want to say, Saturday. Leon was a community activist, vice president of NAACP, also one of the founders of the Compton chapter of NASIA. To date, at this time, there's no set arrangements coming forth, so I'll bring those back as soon as I can get information. So I would like the council to close in memory of Leon Harper. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Sanders. Prince James Reed Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Honorable Mayor, City Council. My name is Prince James Reed Williams. I'm one of the program managers with the Employment Development Department at the America's Job Center of California in Rancho Dominguez, Compton, 90221. And I wanted to bring some information with me today. I wanted to let you guys know that on this month, Wednesday, May 16th, we are having a job fair, a Hire a Hero, Hire a Veteran job fair at the Compton College, right around the corner and down the street. We have about 50 employers and resources who will be on site, who will be hiring people. So if you're looking for a job, come on down to the job fair at Compton College on May 16th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We actually also have a workshop for those individuals who are looking to navigate or who want to learn how to navigate a job fair tomorrow from 2:30 to 4 o'clock also at Compton College. So I have some flyers and some posters, and I'm going to leave them outside for anybody who wants to participate in them. I know that just recently the Honorable Councilwoman Emma Sharif has agreed to do the opening remarks at our event, and I think we got that word today, so thank you very much. You've been a big supporter of the events here at our center. Thank you much for your visit. I think we also had Councilmember McCoy come to our center also, and we also have had the mayor partner with us, and Councilwoman Zarita has also come to the center and partnered with us at our business event last year. So I encourage all of you to come by, spend some time with us, figure out what we do and how we can partner with you to do what we need to do for the citizens of Compton. Born and raised here in Compton, went to school here in Compton, I think I took an English class, no, I took a science class at Compton College. I didn't finish the English one, but I eventually got my degree, at Compton College. So we're here to provide you with some service at the America's Job Center of California. We also partner with individuals over at CareerLink. So we're here just to provide service information. We don't pick sides. We love you all. We want to partner with all of you. And again, the job fair will be Wednesday, May 16th at Compton College from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And before my time runs out, just a few of the employers that we have. Oh, I can't give you guys the employers because I can't pick sides. But we have a lot of employers, and if you want to get a look at the list, I'm going to leave it outside. You guys have any questions? That's all I got. Ask me something about the employers because I can't tell you.
Give us the flyer.
Huh? You want the flyer about the job?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
share it. And we'll also ensure that it's posted online as well. It's very nice.
And if you like, I can also email you
Please.
the registration form. So if you want to have a table there to partner with your constituents, I can also email that to you.
Please do.
As well.
So we'll share. If you can send it to the city manager, he can send it to everyone.
Okay, the city manager. Okay.
Yes, C.
I'll do
Rambo
that.
at Compton. You got it? All right. And thank you for your service as well, always.
Thank you, and thank you very much also for all the veteran support here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Miss Marie Hollis. No, she's still here.
Good evening to the mayor and the council.
Good evening.
I'm Marie Hollis, president of Concerned Citizens of Compton. I'm here about an issue affecting our city. My first concern is the pressure directed at Martha Barajas. Martha has a history of serving her community. Presently, she is out there in her community fighting for the survival of the citizens in District 1 suffering from the contaminated water produced by the Sativa Water Company. It is unimaginable of the threats and abuse inflicted on her by slander, assault, and even a restraining order to shut her up. The restricting order includes the council meetings also. Why? Well, according to Martin Luther King, he said, "You can't keep a good person down unless you stoop yourself." Her adversaries have stooped to lie, double dip, and to try to stop her. It will not work. She will continue her fight to force this water company to come clean and give quality service, which means clean water for the residents it serves and honest financial operations. You won't stop her, and you won't stop us. We are here to support her. Sativa needs to disband, shut down, and to be taken over by a reliable agency. Those citizens deserve clean water and good health. Martha, keep up the good works. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hollis. Mr. Joe Stringer? Mr. Stringer? Okay, sir, thank you.
Good afternoon, Councilman.
Good evening.
My name is Joe Stringer. I am a member of ACE, Alliance for California for Community Empowerment. We are an organization throughout the state. We're in many cities and towns throughout the entire state. But we are here this afternoon on behalf of a member of ours which is having a problem, which there's a lot of people that is having the same problem, which is with housing, whether it's rent or whatever. Anyway, we are having a housing with rent. And our partner or neighbor who has been promised not to be evicted and not to put out, it was given to them. Now, Importation Homes has broken their promise. And we are here to ask you, on behalf, to go and help and support her to stay in her home. Now, don't think that the same thing can't happen to us that happened to her. And I look back because I'm plus 80. And I got kids, grandkids, and so many of us have kids and grandkids. Don't think down the line that what's happening to her can't happen to you, your grandkids, or their kids. And it's time for us to do something about it. We have something that's coming on the ballot, which is called Costa-Hawkins, to repeal Costa-Hawkins. I don't know if any of you know about it or if you've heard about it. But it was something that was put in the city of Los Angeles back in 1978. Although this city, the city of Compton, do not have that. But we want the city of Compton to join with us, get in on repealing Costa-Hawkins, and then in your city, you can establish what you want to establish in terms of housing, rent, and this do it the way that you prefer doing it, rather than other people telling you what to do. Now, I could stand here and go on and on because I've been dealing with this for a long time, and I mean a long time. I've seen people got it put out for no reason at all, and that's what's happening to our member. She was getting put out for no reason at all and has been made a promise. So somebody is not sticking to the promise, and it's got to be the landlord. So with that sign, I'm looking up, in God we trust. May you help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would just ask that, Mr. City Attorney, do you mind just providing a summary of this particular piece of legislation to the council at one point?
Sure.
Thank you for our consideration. Thank you. Ms. Beverly, oh, excuse me?
I think they're gonna.
Yeah, I'd just like us to be able to get a brief in writing so we can get some details. Oh, absolutely. From what I understood, it was not in Compton, but I could be wrong. My understanding was that was not in the city of Compton, but I could be wrong.
Greetings, Councilman, and thank
Greetings.
you for letting us speak. My name is Beverly Roberts, and I'm a member of the ACE, and I'm here to support Cecilia, our member, also, as Mr. Stringer said. But I'm going at it a different way, because what he's saying is exactly what I would say, but I want to say it in my way. And that is, I'm a landlord too, but I support the Costa-Hawkins 1506 bill. And I think everybody here should, because it's impacting people of color, mostly. But it's impacting everybody, really. So what I'm saying is, the way to help us with that is to be sure and tell your family members and your neighbors to vote in the November election to repeal that Costa-Hawkins bill. And if you can't do that, then just talk to somebody. If you can't vote, go get signed up to vote or something. Sign up your dog and make him vote. Because we just have to do something about this. Because what this lady is going through, we see it all the time. She is being, I don't want to say a bad word, but she's being messed with by her landlord.
Yes, ma'am.
And we got to do, it takes us to
Yes.
help each other, and we got to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, very much. Mr. Javier Sarmiento?
Maybe it needs a translator.
Yes, thank you, Councilman Galvan. Need a translator. Un momento, por favor. We're bringing a translator.
I don't think I might need a translator, ma'am.
You don't need, okay, I saw you with the headphones, my mistake.
Like Mr. Stringer said earlier, well, my name is Javier Sarmiento, and I'm here because many people are getting dislocated through the rents are too high, and we can afford. One lady is getting evicted, and if we don't repeal Costa-Hawkins, I believe we can just I'm sorry. It's hard because with the money you make, it just goes to rent, and pretty much people are not getting by with this. We like you guys help doing something about it. Repeal Costa-Hawkins. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your advocacy and your education for us on this matter. Orenio Empanado.
Good evening to all of you.
Good evening,
Thank you
sir.
for having me here. Costa-Hawkins has been a disaster for California renters. Costa-Hawkins ties the city hands when it comes to protecting tenants from landlords charging skyrocketing rents. It's time for the state to stop demanding which properties are exempt from rent control. allow cities to choose, we should allow cities to choose vacancy control and allow an update of existing rent ordinances. The mayor of Los Angeles supports the repeal of Costa-Hawkins. We are asking the mayor and the Compton City Council to support that repeal and unite people in Compton community homes. They rent from Wall Street landlords like Invitation Homes, Blackstone, and Starwood Waypoint Homes. Housing is a human right, and Wall Street wants no rights for any people in the community. And I want to thank the council member, Calvin, and others who publicly supporting Cecilia and her family and demanding that Invitation Homes stick to the deal they made with the family. And we hope that all of you will sign that so that we win for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cecilia Vargas. Translator, ma'am. Un momento, por favor.
Buenas tardes.
Good
Mi
afternoon.
nombre es Cecilia Vargas.
My
Estoy
name is
viviendo en
Cecilia
esta
Vargas,
ciudad.
and I'm living in this city.
En este momento estoy pasando, al igual que miles de familias, estoy luchando contra un desalojo.
At this moment, just like thousands of families, I am fighting to be evicted.
Estoy rentando con una compañía Invitation Home por 5 años, la cual ha incrementado mi renta hasta el último año arriba de $600.
I have been renting from this company called Invitation for 5 years, and so far they have increased my rent well over $600.
Yo tengo que pagar por las reparaciones de la casa, lo cual ellos, cuando yo les llamo, nunca responden mis llamadas.
I have to pay for the repairs in the house, which every time that I call them, they do not respond to my calls.
Yo estoy aquí porque yo no puedo pagar. ¿Cómo es posible que se pueda pagar el 70% del sueldo que entra en mi familia para pagar mi renta?
I am here because how is it possible that now I am being requested to pay 70% of the income that we have in our household just going to pay the rent?
Yo lo que estoy pidiendo es una renta justa, donde el salario que entre a mi hogar me ayude a solventar mis demás necesidades.
What I'm asking for is just a fair rent that would allow me to be able to pay for all the other needs of the family with my salary.
Tengo 3 hijos, 2 de los cuales ellos son universitarios y son estudiantes de tiempo completo, un hijo menor de edad.
I have 3 children, and 2 of them are college students, full-time college students, and the other one is a minor.
No quiero obligarlos ni exponerlos a vivir en la calle ni que se sientan frustrados por tener que abandonar sus estudios. Tampoco sé que no solamente es mi familia.
I don't want to expose them to necessarily live on the street or force them to leave their studies. And I know that this is not only me. There's other families going through the same.
Son miles de familias que están pasando por este problema. Son jóvenes, niños y personas mayores y de la tercera edad que están viviendo en la calle.
We're talking about thousands of families that are going through the same problem. We're talking about youngsters, children, and elderly that are going through the same problems.
Tenemos que luchar contra ese terrible mal de vivienda. Y estas personas, ¿se han preguntado acaso alguno de ustedes cómo se han sentido ellos viviendo en las calles?
We have to fight against these companies, and I wonder if you have asked yourselves, how do these people feel about living on the streets?
Estos jóvenes y niños y personas de mediana edad están expuestos a que ellos tengan su camino a la drogadicción.
what these kids, these youngsters, these people are facing is probably a life of drug addiction.
¿Eso realmente lo que quieren para estos jóvenes que son el futuro de nuestro país?
Is this what you would like for our children, the ones that are the future of our country?
Esto tiene que acabar a la voz de ya. Tiene que parar las altas rentas para que no haya desalojo. En mi caso, una renta justa que yo sí puedo pagarla.
This has to stop immediately. This has to stop this eviction, and we should have a rent that is fair, a rent that I can pay.
Lo que estoy haciendo, esta campaña es para Invitation Home, es una injusticia lo que hace con miles de inquilinos que son como yo. No tengan miedo de alzar su voz y vamos a luchar para que ganemos. Únanse a las organizaciones para que sus voces sean escuchadas.
What I'm doing is, in order to show others that this type of activity is going to be allowing them to make their voices heard. You have to come together to organizations so that your voice can be heard.
Tenemos que organizarnos porque es una pelea de vida o muerte y todos juntos pararemos al alto costo de renta. En noviembre vamos a derrocar la ley Costa-Hawkins.
We have to get together and we have to fight shoulder to shoulder in order to be able to repeal this Costa-Hawkins law.
Tenemos que parar esto ya, porque al derrocar la ley Costa-Hawkins nos beneficia a todos para que ya no haya más gentes viviendo en las calles.
We have to do this right now. This is the moment to do it because we have to repeal this Costa-Hawkins law so that we don't have more people living on the streets.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Abel Gonzalez.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Abel González.
Good afternoon, my name is Abel Gonzalez.
Soy miembro de Alianza de Californianos para el Empoderamiento de la Comunidad.
I'm also a member of the Alianza of Californianos for Empoderamiento de la Comunidad.
Estoy hoy aquí para pedirle su apoyo.
I'm here to request your support.
Queremos revocar la ley Costa-Hawkins.
What we want is to repeal this Costa-Hawkins law.
Es una ley que ha estado dañando a nuestras comunidades.
This is a law that has been damaging our communities.
Ella le da el poder a las grandes corporaciones de que hagan aumentos discriminados.
This law allows the big corporations to increase the rent indiscriminately.
Queremos, revocando esta ley Costa-Hawkins,
by revoking this Costa-Hawkins law, what we want
ayudará a crear más vivienda económica
is to help to have more accessible housing
y sin gastos a la municipalidad.
Without expenses for the city.
Con esta ley están desplazando a nuestras comunidades. Ellos no miran colores ni razas. Ellos aumentan a cualquiera que viva dentro de sus viviendas.
With this law, what they're doing is they're displacing people, no matter what color. They don't care what color the people is. They're just getting those people out of the community.
Esperamos su apoyo y queremos que reconsideren que esta ley nos está perjudicando.
We would like to have your support and for you to consider the fact that this law is really hurting us.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Gracias.
Mr. Joe Delgado.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, so thank you for listening to all of us coming here today. I want to just share our appreciation as an organization and a group of folks that are concerned of the conditions that working folks are living in here in the county of Los Angeles. Invitation homes will continue to grow like a cancer if we don't stop it now. They own 14,000 homes in the county of Los Angeles, with 100 alone here in the city of Compton. These folks operate in a way that's very frivolous. It's very criminal, in my opinion. They come into families' homes like Cecilia, make no repairs, increase the rent by hundreds of dollars at a time, and leave our folks with bad health conditions and bad economic shape, and just overall really expose us to being kicked out on the street. One of the reasons that we're seeing an explosion of the homeless population is because of big companies like this. After the foreclosure crisis that we happened to come upon in 2008, these companies came in, bought up all the foreclosed properties, and then basically rented it out to the folks that were foreclosed on. So this is a continuation of a systemic racist operation that targeted black and brown communities, and we need to stop it now. One of the ways that we could stop it is by repealing Costa-Hawkins, by having the support the Compton City Council will add on to the fight. Just as an example, Invitation Homes, we collected over 500,000 signatures to put the repeal of Costa-Hawkins on the ballot for November, alongside with different coalition partners. Just as of last week, Invitation Homes and their partners have contributed over $250,000 to defeat that effort. It's going to be one of the most expensive legislative policy fights on the ballot this coming November, and we're going to need all hands on deck. If our community has suffered, we need to come together and band now to make sure that we have a standing and fighting chance against these folks. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at us, so we need to make sure that we stand together. Having your support will definitely add on to our fuel and make sure that we have a fighting chance in November. Again, thank you for listening to us, and just as everybody said here, we strongly believe that housing is a human right, and we're here to fight for it every inch of the way. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Giselle Mata.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Giselle Mata. I'm the housing organizer with ACE. We host a tenant clinic every Thursday night from 6:30 to 9. In this tenant clinic, we're seeing hundreds every month for evictions. Many of them are wrongful evictions. We have an attorney who can give a next step to folks, but unfortunately she does not work out of Compton because she does not have enough attorneys to cover Compton. This is unfortunate because we're seeing folks from Compton come into our South LA office, and folks like Cecilia Vargas and others who are experiencing these types of notices of $500 increases with a 60-day notice. And I might add that Ms. Vargas was given a 60-day notice in September, or actually in October, for a $500 increase. She was on automatic draft. Invitation Homes, AKA Blackstone, took out that $500 in November and overdrafted her, and that's what she's being evicted for. So they wrongfully took the money too early, and then they go ahead and evict her on that cause. So we're standing with her, and we're asking the folks on this council to stand with her and sign the support letter, because I want to give you another number, okay? My partner gave you a 14,000 homes that were flipped and turned into rentals, okay? They're answering to investors now. So every $500 increase, every 3-day, notice that, pay your rent or quit, and if they pay their rent after the 3rd day, they get a $100 fee for paying it late, 3 days late, okay? They got a $50 per pet fee, so if you got 3 pets, it's $150. So they're ridiculous, but let me tell you a big number right here, and you can look it up online. It's blackstone.com. $450 billion in assets. This company is way too big to exist. It needs to be broken up. But what they're doing as the corporate landlord is they're answering to investors, and they're not answering to our communities. And the houses that they're maintaining are all foreclosures. So they're not only reaping the benefits on the backs of our communities from a foreclosure crisis, but they're now reaping the benefits on the housing crisis that we're experiencing. So we need to raise the alarm. I think enough folks have spoken up about repealing Costa-Hawkins, Senate Bill AB 1506. We got close to 600,000 signatures. We only needed 400, but we went ahead and did the extra because you know what? Nobody's going to take this away from us. Our communities deserve it. Our homeless population needs resources, and these companies need to be broken up and address the issues that are coming real close to an emergency. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Emma Montagnano. We'll bring one down just so it's an official record. Thank you, and I appreciate that.
Hola, buenas noches.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Mi nombre es Emma Montellano.
My name is Emma Montellano.
Soy miembro de la organización ACE.
I am a member of the ACE organization.
Y los puntos que estoy aquí.
And the reason for me to be here is
Porque estoy hablando sobre el problema que está de Costa-Hawkins ahorita que están subiendo las rentas muy altas.
that
Y
we are
están
having a
sacando
problem
mucha
with this
gente.
Costa-Hawkins law. They're increasing the rents too much and they're evicting a lot of people.
Les están aumentando las rentas muy altas a las personas. ¿Y a dónde vamos a ir a parar la gente pobre?
They're
No
increasing
tenemos
the rents
dinero
too
para...
much to the poor people, and where is it that we're going to end up? We don't have the money to be paying that much.
So, eso es lo que yo les vengo a decir. Es muy triste que tanta gente no tenga dinero para pagar las rentas porque las rentas están muy altas.
This is what I came
¿A
to
dónde?
tell you, because it is something really sad that there's so many people that don't have the money to pay these high rents. Where are we going?
¿A dónde vamos a ir a parar todos nosotros?
Where are we going to end up
Los-
going?
Los precios muy altos, las rentas muy altas.
With these prices so high and the rents so high,
No entiendo yo que este problema de la ley de Costa-Hawkins que no la yo quiero que la quiten porque si no nunca vamos a tener las rentas bien.
I don't understand this, but what I know is I would like for you to help us to get rid of this Costa-Hawkins law, because otherwise rents are not going to be accessible.
Como esta señora que estamos viniendo a apoyar, que tiene este problema que las rentas se la aumentan cada ratito y no le están arreglando, no le arreglan, no le contestan la llamada a los dueños.
Like this lady that we came to support that is getting the rent increased every so often, and then whenever there's a problem, she calls the owners and they do not answer her back.
Si nosotros no pagamos las rentas al precio que sea, nos sacan a la calle.
If we don't pay the rent, whichever price they give us, they're taking us out to the street.
Y esto de Costa-Hawkins, esta ley de Costa-Hawkins queremos revocarla ya.
And that's why we want to
So-
revoke this Costa-Hawkins law right away.
Necesitamos su apoyo de ustedes, concejales.
That's why we need your support, council people.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Maria Villarreal.
Do you know what, Mayor? If I could have a minute before the next speaker, I wanted to wait till they were all done. You know, I had a chance to visit the lady yesterday. I think they were a little confused and thought it was my council district, but it was actually Councilwoman Zarita's. And it's a real sad story. You know, it kind of reminded me when I was a kid. You know, I was the son of a single mom with 5 kids, so we constantly moved around a lot, different streets, you know, every so often because they raised the rent. So it kind of struck a personal feeling with me, and I just felt really bad. It's a sad story. They raised the rent $600 a month. So imagine being on a fixed income and then having to make an additional $600 a month just to live in the house where you're raising your family at in the city of Compton. But aside from that, also these big firms are absentee landlords. I mean, they don't have people right there maintaining the properties. I sent the fire department out today. The lady in her apartment, the windows don't open up. So she's complained to the owners many times to fix the windows. They don't do it. Her backyard is the weeds are so high in her contract. The owner's supposed to maintain the properties. She has a lot of issues with her plumbing, with the walls in her house, and these guys are so quick to you know, just try to make a dollar on their residents. And these things only affect people of color, black and brown people who pay the rent, you know, and it's a big issue in my district. We have a lot of apartment complexes in my district, and even where I live, I pay rent in Compton, and they raised my rent last year $50 2 times, and you know, I was like, it's, you know, but I can imagine $600. I mean, that's crazy. So the lady actually has court tomorrow to work out her issue with the landlord. If they'll show up, I have no idea, but they actually have money to send a high-priced attorney to battle this lady, you know, who's just by herself. So I signed a letter of support for the lady. I'm going to send it to all of my colleagues on the dais, and hopefully you guys can sign a letter of support for her as well, because what's right is right, and what they're doing is absolutely wrong. And I want to make sure that I stand up and fight with you guys for all of our residents in Compton. And I know I talked to Councilwoman Zarita because it's her district, and she was 100% on board with supporting, but I'll let her talk about it if she wants to, about a little bit. It's your resident.
Absolutely, and Councilman Galvan, as he said, he's very passionate about this. So I told him that whatever we need to do, that I stand by him and I stand by the families. And not sure legally what we can do about slumlords and folks, landlords forcing residents out of their rental property. I'm not sure what we can do to assist the people, Mr. City Attorney.
Right now, going to court under, you know, the landlord has rights to have a habitable place, and the tenant needs to enforce those rights to the judge, and hopefully justice will prevail in the matter. I can't think of a way that the city can intercede on that legal proceeding tomorrow, besides giving, you know, support that the councilman was referring to.
Yeah, because, you know, it's so unfortunate sometimes when people live on fixed incomes, or, you know, they're afraid to speak up, and I tell you, and make complaints to make the living conditions habitable. And when Councilman Galvan went out to the location yesterday, he was just in tears. You know, he said, the place is horrible. The windows don't open, the grass is everywhere, you know, it's all kind of stuff running around in the yard. But sometimes people are afraid to complain, are afraid to report these slumlords because they think exactly what happened. They're gonna put you out, or they're gonna evict you, or they're gonna raise the rent. But people do have rights, and hopefully we can get more active with ACE and with the organizations that look out for people that are victims of these landlords. And thank you, Galvan, for bringing it to my attention. And I do support you, and Galvan gave me the draft of the letter, so hopefully I can get it to you before in the morning.
Thank you.
And also to the city manager, I don't know what code enforcement can do, but what I seen yesterday was horrendous. I don't know if we have jurisdiction to go inside the house and cite them for code violations, but if we can't go in the house and cite them, then I'm sure that we could at least cite the weeds in their backyards, because that's a fire hazard, as well as I sent the fire department down there as well, so I'm sure that there's some fire violations as well. Maybe you can follow up and look at that, and if there's anything we can do to cite the property owner to make sure that they maintain their properties, I think that'll be beneficial to them.
And I'm going to ask the housing director, Ms. Green, to come down and provide some information on fair housing relative to this issue. So as she makes her way down. And ma'am, if you have any additional information, you can share it with staff as your time has been exhausted. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. It's due tomorrow. Did you want to provide that information?
So
please.
With the support of the City Council and the Mayor, we're going to be presenting that letter to the judge tomorrow morning.
Okay.
To add weight to what we're, lifting up and the issues of corporate landlords and how they're
Okay.
abusing their tenants.
Thank you very much for that. And I'll also look for the letter. I'm going to ask Ms. Green to come forward. And then Ms. Villarreal, you'll be next, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. For as open market rents, they can contact Fair Housing. Public Works Code Enforcement can go in and they can cite them as long as they're giving the person who's renting notice. They can go in and give them code violations and write them up. So far as rent control, that's a different story.
But I think, and I know that we do have fair housing, if you can provide that information for the contact. But it's important to note that when residents are living in these conditions, as it was said earlier, they're afraid to combat the landlord because of additional retaliatory increases. And so if there are issues for health and safety or code enforcement violations, that information can be reported to the city, and the city can then go out for enforcement. And it can be a third-party transaction instead of the tenant directly reporting to the landlord.
They can also go to legal aid.
Okay. Could you provide the information for fair housing?
I don't have it with me right now, but I can. I can put it on the website. But we use the fair housing that's in Long Beach.
Okay, that information should be on the city's website, and I'm going to ask that we share that before the end of the evening.
And also legal aid.
Okay.
Because they can always contact legal aid, and legal aid can give them their rights.
Okay. And then, well, that's fine for tonight. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe the council will consider a resolution of some sort in support of 1806 SB 1806.
It's 1506, and the city attorney's going to bring something
You're
forward
gonna bring it
for
back?
us.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I've been trying to get on the list for the longest, and the paper went from one end to the other end around.
Okay, sir. I'll invite you up after the last speaker of the evening. Thank you. And what is your name? Because I'll add it on now.
My name is Miller Martin.
Miller Martin. Okay. Thank you, sir. How many people would like to speak that is not on the list? Because, okay, so we're going to cap it at these two speakers because we have to have a meeting that is brief and can move forward with city business. So I'm going to ask, that's the whole point of signing up. So we will accommodate you. Ms. Maria Villarreal.
She's doing an interview with Cecilia Vargas right now with the Spanish television, so she won't be speaking.
Okay, here's Ms. Maria here. Thank you.
Buenas noches, María Villarreal, Latino Chamber of Commerce of Compton. Tonight I'm here for three things, but I'm going to make it four. I'm going to start right now before my time is up. I want to thank Officer Arevalos from the Sheriff's Department for attending our first crime prevention meeting last month. Thanks for the support. That's how we start. We're building up relationships by attending. The second thing is that we had the Cinco de Mayo, and it was a great event. It was small, but it was a great event. those who didn't participate, you miss the little horses, you know, ride horses, ponies, and all that. And the second thing, we had the grand opening for one of our business right the next day, which was Sunday. There's pictures on Facebook, there's pictures on the website of the Latino Chamber of Commerce. But you know, every day I get up this morning and I had a cup of coffee. I do that every day. And on my way to work, before I get to do my stuff, I go through Facebook. And I read all these negative comments regarding what's going on. And you know, I just turn it off and continue doing my job. I love helping the people. I love helping the businesses. And I love being a resident of Compton. And I am not leaving Compton. I've been here since 1970 and I will continue living here. Thank you. So I continue my regular day and I enjoy my coffee. And I receive a lot of phone calls in the chamber asking things about what's going on with Sativa. We are not connected with Sativa. We have not done anything. The fact that we have a member of the chamber, part of activists, it has nothing to do with Sativa. Whatever you as an activist do, it doesn't mean that we can control you. I can do whatever I want on my free time. I can say whatever I feel on my free time, but not representing any organization, or I cannot be up there saying, you know, in the name of Compton, City of Compton, I'm doing this and this. As long as they don't relate that to the Latino Chamber of Commerce, that's fine. But once you start relating this incident with the Latino Chamber of Commerce in my name, then there's going to be a next step. So be careful with what you say up there. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Joyce Kelly?
Good evening, I'm Joyce Kelly, and I've been here since 1966. I want to thank all of you for attending my church of 52 years, 150th anniversary. Should I call you by name? And I thought, Alita, you would be in the kitchen helping, because you always help. I was looking forward to the city's 130th anniversary this coming Saturday. If I miss it, happy birthday, Compton. Yes, we do need rent control in this city. Leon Harper, I've known since the 70s. Soft-spoken, and no one could outdress Leon, except I have a cousin who's a probation officer, supervisor, who does. You know, I can't stand it. I am sick of people who do not live in Compton coming to Compton trying to tear the city apart. In 2007, I was working with some of the people trying to get the cultures together with an understanding. When you bring a little creep into town and try to threaten, abuse, humiliate one of our community activists who is of herself and of whatever, everything, food to feed the poor, give food away. I mean, why would you try to stop that? Unless you're being paid by Sativa and you introduce yourself to this body as a CEO or whatever of the Latino Chamber of Commerce in Compton. Asia Brown, now why are you up there in the Transit Center having your own movie studio? I could not believe it. Mr. City Manager, you're supposed to oversee our city properties, and this body, aren't you supposed to vote? You've brought people here before who wanted that center, and they spoke, and you voted against it. How does she get it? That building was built with lease revenue bonds, and don't you dare try to tell me any differently, because I was sitting here. I could probably tell you if I think hard enough how much it costs for us to have to pay the bonds back. You say we don't have to pay it back. Somebody has to pay that money back. And I believe that, I think it was Isaac who brought or asked for an ordinance about the city's property and rentals, Mr. City Manager, but I never heard of it coming forth. You need to vote on that. H. Brown, you spend over $50,000 to have an office in City Hall. Now, why would you want to go to the transit center? Those restrooms over there are locked. The doors are locked. It's our building. It's the people of Compton's building. You live in Pasadena.
For the record, and I'm just going to address the fallacy. First of all, we need to understand that it does not cost the city one dime whether I work in City Hall, if I work across the street in the park, if I work at the community center or the transit center. These are city buildings that are paid for with taxpayer dollars. Excuse me, ma'am, I'll let you speak and I didn't interrupt you. I didn't pay additional fees to rent there, and then out of the council, we have had several opportunities to lease the building at the transit center, several. And each time I brought items forward for consideration, and it's up to the council because we act as a body. From what I understand, there will be another opportunity to lease that property out, and when there is another opportunity, I will support it. But that is a current vacant building that is being underutilized, and we should be happy that at least there's some type of maintenance going on there, because the building is deteriorating. That building was built in 2010, and not one time has it ever been occupied. And again, it's 2018. I work not, and I think the whole council can attest to this, we don't just work only when we're on City Hall property. We work at home, we work out in the community. Some of us have jobs, we work from there, so we're always working on behalf of the residents. So regardless of whether or not I'm on at 205 South Willowbrook, or whether or not I'm at the transit center, if I'm at the park, wherever I am, I work on behalf of my constituents. And I think that we have to be realistic and not try to control every aspect of what happens with the city elected officials. It's a control issue. It's not about cost, because the city, Mr. City Manager, are you paying additional money having a satellite office at the transit center?
No.
You heard it from the city manager. There is no additional funds being spent. And regarding me providing an interview, the actual docu-series was for a well-known Compton resident, and this is not my show, this is not anything to do with me, but if I'm asked to comment on the city or its history, that's my responsibility as the mayor. When we think about all the negative things that we hear in the media, we never have, the argument is, are we going to correct it, or are we going to leave it out there? And so for me as a spokesperson, if I have an opportunity to correct fallacies, I'm going to do that. And that's a part of my responsibility as the mayor. That's what I was elected to do by the residents that elected me to be their mayor. And I'm going to continue to do that. Again, I have never profited from doing one single interview. And if you ever watch me do any interview, I don't talk about my personal business, which I do have businesses. I don't talk about my personal family. It's always about the city of Compton and its business. And so I just urge people to have an open mind and to be realistic and to spread accurate information, because I'm not spending any taxpayer dollars working across the street, and I don't work there every single day. Today I was in City Hall all day. So that's the definition of a satellite office. It means you can work in the park, you can work across the street, you can work from wherever. I work from home, and I don't ask to be compensated. So we should be realistic and stop taking things personally. And again, that building is not mine. It's open to anyone. I don't have an exclusive key to the transit center. It's available to anyone. We have city interviews that are being held there. Anyone can access that building. And so I'll continue to work there remotely a couple of times a week until the building is leased. And when it's leased, I'll happily relocate to City Hall or work privately from my own offices as I so choose. But again, I'm going to be accessible to my residents. Thank you.
I had a question for the city manager. I requested about 6 or 7 weeks ago, I requested it last week again, about an ordinance being brought back for any one that wants to utilize any city properties to come before the body. I don't know what the holdup is. I always get that it's the attorney holding it up, so I think if that's the issue, then you have a list of attorneys that you can use from your list, then maybe they can draft it up and bring it back to the body, because I think that there's a process that has to be done to do that. And I also have a concern about who has keys to that property. I personally don't have a key to any property in the city. I have a fob that opens from the garage. That's it. I don't even have a key to my office. I leave it unlocked. So I'm really concerned about who actually has a key to that property. So I would like a list of that, and I would like that ordinance that I requested to come back soon, because it's been going on 2 months now.
Thank you. Ms. Lynn Boone?
Lynn Boone, City of Compton. Whew. First, I want to ask on item number 2, I hope that you plan on removing all the illegal commissions tonight. And those are the commissions that were put together by one council person that was never voted on here, and that's misuse of public funds. The other thing I would like to ask the people of Compton to please say a prayer for Shay Hamilton, the founder of the nonprofit Angels for Sight, because she had surgery and she's not doing that well. So if you could say a prayer for her, it would really be heard. God does answer prayers. And I want to address what Ms. Kelly was saying. On Wednesdays, just not myself, but other people, we go out and we protest in regards to that transit center, because that is one of our buildings. That's a lease building that was paid for with lease revenue bond. And what Ms. Brown just said was not all the truth. This lady had a full makeup crew, film, and hairdress. She stood in that window and she taunted the people that were there. No resident from the city of Compton can utilize that building, can go in there to address anything. So don't say that that's a satellite building, because it's not. You know, the city manager, I know he does things under the table, I guess, to try to keep his job, but that's not what it says in 2-228. He's only supposed to take orders from council members on this DS in a duly held city meeting. I've never heard that request from Ms. Brown to the city manager. And the other thing is that, what if one of those film crew members, or even her, got hurt in that building? Who would be held responsible for that? Who would pay for that? Mr. City Attorney. And it wasn't just one film crew. Once that one went out, another truck came. So if you're talking about giving history on a city when you're not even from here, you need someone else there, because the things that you've been saying are not the truth, number one, about Compton. So to sit up and say that you're doing a film or a documentary on the history of Compton, it should not be held, because you don't know about Compton. And I can look you in your eyes and tell you that. And the other thing I want to ask this council, I haven't seen the resolution, but maybe somebody can give me the number of when you voted on to supply money for the 135th, 104th, whatever it is, anniversary, because these free rides and the free food and everything that's supposed to be held for the meeting, for this event on this weekend, who's paying for this? Who is paying for this? This is another misuse of public funds. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Boone. Ms. Miller Martin?
I'm a new resident here in Compton, just bought a house here. I'm a radio personality on KBLA, 1580 AM, and I also work with another television station called Punch. There's an all cable system around. I'm only asking for one thing. In my neighborhood, on Grandy, we need the potholes filled. I understand people's rent and all that, because I went through that. I'm only come for one reason. I was kicked out of the house in Hawthorne. And I was put out in the street, furniture and all. But I made a way to get to Compton through my sister, which Asia know. And we helped me to get and purchase a house in Compton. I already put $35,000 into the home to make it look decent for the city of Compton. I would like to help Compton do events to bring a lot of money to this city. I deal with a lot of entertainment and with a lot of entertainment celebrities. I'm here just to get the potholes filled first. The entertainment can come second, okay? But I do feel for the people who under that rent control and getting kicked out, because you're looking at one that was kicked out, and I'm 70 years old, okay? Like the gentleman said, he was 66 with all the, I'm 70. I was kicked in the streets, but I didn't quit. That's what everybody here have to learn. You can't quit just because someone kicked you. And you can't blame the city council because you got kicked. You have to take a lot of things upon yourself and make it be that way. Pointing fingers at each other is not going to solve no problem. I've been through that, done it. So we just need to get together and make it happen as one body. And I think if we do that, I think the council people hopefully will help out to get you guys' situation right. And if you don't like them, I don't know why you come up here arguing with them, vote them out.
Exactly.
Apparently they must be good because you keep voting them in. And I only been here 1 year. So if it's Emma right there is great, if you guys didn't like her, you would have voted out a long time ago. You didn't. So she must be great. Same thing with Tana. Same thing with Asia. You guys, everybody's been voted back. So quit crying. Let's make this, let's get a team together. Let's bring the city of Compton like they do in Inglewood. Bring it back. And I'm telling you, Inglewood is growing major. Okay, major. And they're not crying over there. They're doing what they got to do to make it happen. So we're going to have to do the same thing to make it happen. We have to stop crying. Thank you very much, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I need to know the address of the 100 block so that I can talk.
Follow up, yes.
Follow up.
Mr. Morton or Martin, what's the address for on Grandy? 1713, okay. We're checking now on the, from the previous. The council just approved a citywide pothole repair program that I believe the bids were just, they were due this week to the city for review. Those items will be coming forward to the council the next week or two, actually about 2 weeks after they make their recommendation, and then we can issue the notice to proceed. But we've allocated enough funding to secure all of the potholes in the city of Compton. And so that will be something that's in short order. And then I believe that Grandy is on
It is on the list.
Okay,
Yes.
Grandy is on the list, and so we also approved over $1 million in funding for emergency street repairs. I think it was $1.7 million for CDBG, and then another $1 million plus. So that is actually on the list, and once those items are received back from bid, we'll be able to issue a notice of proceed. So the goal is to move forward with these residential street improvements and some of the major street improvements this summer. Thank you, sir. Please email me and we'll get something calendared. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, and if the gentleman with you, I don't know if he was speaking as well, but you all can come together. And these will be our last, oh, the gentleman next to you was the person. You can come next, sir, and then you'll be the last speaker of the night. Thank you. And state your name for the record. Thank you.
Tamala Robinson. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I miss you guys. I haven't been in a while. But I wanted to come and introduce my good friend and also to give you all a good update about our location at 357 West Compton Boulevard. We've been servicing the community and doing a lot of great things there, and I just want to let you all know because I came before you to ask for things, so I'd like to give an update. I wanted to introduce you all to Dr. Lucas. I saw some things on the news about the water initiative and some of the issues that are going on with the water. I don't know all the logistics, but I do know that some healthy water initiatives need to happen in the city of Compton. And we have been servicing the community by giving them healthy water. The name of the water is called Kangen water. And Dr. Lucas has been helping my families, and I just wanted to find out if we can meet the person that is over the initiative with the water, go to some of the round tables and find out the information that will be privy to us so that we could be effective in bringing healthy water in the community. And this is Dr. Lucas.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
We were talking about or thinking about just maybe water service centers, things like that, where people can go get water on a consistent basis. Water is, essentially life, and everybody has the water. We bathe in it, we drink in it. It ends up being, 90% of everything that we do. And if water is bad, then it's going to affect our health, not just, everything. Hypertension, diabetes, gout, all of these things. Essentially, all these things are just things that happen over time as you consistently drink polluted water. So I was looking to try to find something that we could do to help out the city. Thank you.
Is your water bottled water?
It is not bottled water.
Filtration system. We shared the information for Sativa's meetings. I believe they're first and third Wednesdays of the month, 10 a.m. 6 o'clock p.m.? Oh, I thought it was 10 a.m., excuse me. 6 o'clock p.m. And we'll ensure that we have city staff that can share the location details with you. But they have a regular meeting where you can actually address the brown water that we discussed earlier this evening. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
I thought I saw Mr. Harvey. Can someone provide them with information? Oh, you have it? So go ahead.
Sativa Water, their meetings are every first and third Wednesday, 6 p.m. at 2015 East Hatchway.
Thank you.
Mr. City Manager, are you going to send anyone from your staff to that LAFCO meeting tomorrow?
I've got an email into the executive director over there to see what time it is, so I'll probably attend and rearrange some stuff on my calendar. 9 a.m.
Can you give a verbal report next week as to what took place?
Yes.
Yes, sir. And could you just state your name for the record?
I have enjoyed this meeting, even in the
Sir,
confrontational.
could you just state your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Pastor Stuart Parham,
Okay.
over One Kingdom Ministries. When I was living in Compton, I pastored Agape Land Assembly of God. Trinity Chapel helped me a lot. I'm here today to introduce to most of you, and Brother Holyfield, I think these couple of brothers I know, but I don't live in Compton anymore, but I live in Watts. And my daughter has a master's degree from me teaching her in Watts. She's a technology and business master holder. She was an English undergrad. And I raised both my children in Watts. When I got here to Compton, I thought, what a land of opportunity. As I met Walter Tucker and helped he and his wife, Robin, to get elected. And one thing that never was going on back then was this issue of potholes and construction. And you could always hit a black man working. Amen, Brother Holyfield. What I'm introducing today pertains to that topic. I have a plan right here for the city of Compton to vote that we take the Richland Farms property through eminent domain by the city, and we provide you a 9-acre solar farm with 2 wind turbines that will take the city of Compton off the power grid from Edison. Now, I know Edison, because of the deregulation of energy since 1972, I'm allowed to do this because citizens now own every telephone pole across the United States. People in Dallas are already doing these things. So I have these 2 proposals here and the grants for the cleanup of Richland Farms because it's been contaminated. And about, I think it was 12 years ago, our Latino brothers and sisters sold some people some horchata with salmonella poison. So that make the property condemned for usage. However, the soil samples from some of the property is bad, and so I'm prepared to write another Bronzefield Cleanup Act, which I wrote the one for Jordan Downs that they're using right now to clean up the soil. And we build you a 9-acre solar farm that will take this city from the leash of Edison. In this proposal also is what the city of San Jose did and what the city of Lancaster just did. So I'm asking that the city council members, I didn't address each one of these to each of you, but I have Ms. Sharif, Councilwoman Sharif's name on the top of this one. But I'll leave these two with you. My number and all of my information is here. I'm talking to you from the position of the Greater Watts Willowbrook Chamber of Commerce, which was started when Ted Watkins had 600 jobs in Watts.
Thank you, sir.
And Kenny Hahn was the mayor of Watts, if you want to say. Thank you. Please.
Thank you.
I have my business cards here. Please.
Thank you so very much. Good evening. Madam City Clerk? Madam City Clerk?
We're at consent agenda.
Consent items are routine and expected to be non-controversial. They'll be acted upon by the council at one time without discussion unless a council member requests for an item be removed or discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 2 is a request to accept the resignation of Joanne Pearsall Evans, Beautification Committee, and Lamika Horton Pope from the Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Brown.
I'd like to nominate.
Oh, wait,
I'd like the nomination, please, to the planning commission.
We got,
I
this is
Wait,
on the
hold
resignation.
This is just on the resignation. This is just on the removal, to accept the removals. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
I'd like to make a nomination for planning commission.
There is not an item on the floor yet, and I'm going to ask, Madam City Clerk, do you have the existing members and the districts that they reside in?
It's not by district only. It's not.
I'd just
appointed
like
by
to know for
district.
my information, if you don't mind, ma'am. So that we can have some equal representation.
If I can put the item on the floor, which is an appointment to the Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second. I'd like to nominate Kiana Lewis for the Planning Commission.
I like the second.
Roll call.
She was.
I haven't called roll, and I'm waiting for the information that I requested. Thank you.
Oh, you had a motion and a second.
And I did not call roll. I'm just
We're at
asking
discussion.
for some information.
We have Elizabeth Atkinson. I believe she is District 1. Kanika Gardner. I'm not, she's at Burris. I think she's District 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Who's that?
Gardner.
Gardner?
You say where they live or who they were appointed by?
No, I was
I
asked
appointed, Kanikia
what
Gardner.
district they live in.
Where they live in?
Is that District 4?
Or do you have their appointee information?
Not with me, no, I don't.
Okay. You can list the names if you want.
Delilah Gomez is District 2.
Okay.
Juanita Green Wright is District 3. So you have 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
I'd like to nominate Kiana Lewis for Planning Commission.
Second.
I'm sorry, what was the name?
Kiana Lewis.
Can you spell the Kiana?
I don't know how to spell it, but Keahana. Forgive me if I spelled it wrong.
Lewis is
Last
the
name
last name?
Lewis, capital Lewis.
Thank you. Any additional discussion?
Any additional appointment?
Motion and second, okay. There's a motion on the floor for Kiana Lewis.
And a second.
And a second. Is there any additional
Motion on
discussion?
the floor.
Yeah, another nomination.
Do we have to do them one at a time, or can they all be made? And then we can do the first one in order received for discussion purposes.
For a cleaner record, it's one motion at a time.
One at a time.
Okay, no problem. Any additional discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
Galvin.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
No.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
For the residents' records, there's 2 appointments in District 2. I only made one. The other one was made by the mayor. So don't think that I have 2 appointments.
I'm sorry, who did I appoint in District 2?
You just, the second one you said you appointed, what's her name?
Kanikia?
From
Kaniki.
my understanding, she lived in District 4. That's
She
why
used to
I was
live in
asking the
District 2 though,
question.
right? She did before.
She lives in District 4.
She lives in District 4. I wasn't clear. I was
Oh, okay, but you,
asking a question.
yeah, all right, so that's where the confusion was.
I said Gomez lives in District 2.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Well, you said who is in District 4?
But the fact of the matter is, Madam Clerk,
Yes, ma'am.
for the planning commission, it's no, district is no requirement, is it?
District is no requirement.
Thank you.
It is not a requirement. My question was in terms of representation, and I'm just going to ask Madam Clerk that when we consider other items that we bring forward, who made the appointee, so that it's clear, so that we understand.
With that, I'll do the best I can, because sometimes you will make one will make a nomination, another will make an appointment, so I'll do it as clear as I can as it relates to the record.
Okay.
Well,
Thank
Madam-
you.
Mayor, Madam Clerk.
Yes,
So, Madam Clerk, is there a limit to how many appointees one council person can make?
No, I don't have it with me, but there are certain commissions that require by district, and a council person has one appointment at that time.
But in the,
but-
in the case of the planning commission, can a council person only make one appointee?
I don't believe there's no restriction to it.
Thank you.
I believe they can.
Thank you.
I've been on this dais for 5 years now, and for 3 years I had no appointment on the planning commission. The other former council person that was up here had 2 of them, and nobody cared, so I don't know why it's an issue now.
And I asked that, Councilman Galvin, if you would give me information.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
you know, you made a statement in regards to a representation from each district. Then I'm going to ask that something be brought forth to the council in regarding this to make sure that there's representation from each one of the districts on the planning commission.
Thank you.
Because in my opinion, I do not believe that one person should put, should nominate everybody on any commission, that it should be something fairly done. And so I'm asking that that be brought forth for us to consider, for us to discuss.
You feel like you've
Thank
been
you.
treated unfairly?
Just for clarification, my questions to the city clerk. Currently, there is all 4 districts represented on the planning commission, right?
Yes.
Great.
I'm asking that it be brought forward.
Who gonna vote on it?
Well, you know, you can sit up here and not vote on it, it's up to you. I asked for it to be brought forward.
It's noted. Thank you. Any additional discussion? Thank you, Madam Clerk.
We're ready to move. Item number 4, under City Manager's report, is a request to schedule the 2018 fireworks hearing, requesting that date to be June 5th, 2018 at 5:45 p.m.
So moved.
Is there a
So
second?
moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Is this for the firework hearing?
Yes. Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
You wanna say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say something. Everybody's entitled to their vote, but I'm gonna vote no against this because the years I've been on the council, I think the fireworks companies do nothing but exploit the residents of Compton. They give them a fraction of the money. It seems like the same people get the booths all the time, and I don't think that it's done properly, so my vote is gonna be no, and I'm actually against fireworks, so, yeah. I just wanted to make that clear.
Madam Mayor, there's The fireworks, I don't know how long the lottery system has been going on, but in the future, I would like to just kind of discuss, for the next year to start to maybe do a different process to give some other organizations the opportunity. Because I don't know how long it's been going on. I guess it's been working effectively, but sometimes it's good to do a change. But that's my thoughts on fireworks. I think.
Actually, Council President Zarita, going to the lottery allowed more people to have a chance.
Did it?
Because the way it was is that if you were an organization and you were still in good standing and provided all your documentation, you always had a stand. But with the lottery, you will get 2 years, and then you go back into the lottery. So it allows other organizations, but before, because I've been doing the fireworks since I've worked for the city, and at one point, one company was monopolizing all the booths because their stands were always in there, and no new organizations had an opportunity to come in because those stands always came back every year. But with the lottery system, the longest you can hold a booth, a stand is for 2 years, and then you come out and go into the lottery. Yeah, so but it's of course your right to change it, but just to let you know that the lottery system is the best way for various organizations to at least have a chance. And in fact, we held the lottery today for the 2018.
And my comment wasn't a knock on you, Lita, or your process. I'm just against the company in particular because I don't feel like they work with the people that actually are awarded the booths. They come around just during that time, and they have no investment in the city of Compton. I don't really think my opinion, I don't think they could care less about any of the organizations that are actually applying for this. And I think that I just really think they're exploiting the people in the city of Compton. And the question, I don't know if you would be the one to answer it or if the city attorney or city manager will. I know that we do the lottery and the appointment for TNT, right? But I also know that we have phantom fireworks booths. Do they go through the same process, or do they just come and set up? Because I don't even know who does the phantom. I've never met them or nothing.
Phantom is the other organization or the other fireworks company. They do submit organizations, and so they've had stands. However, they submit very few, but they do have, and they go through the same process.
And then also to piggyback off my colleague's comments, we say the same thing every year that we want to change the process, and we've even talked about banning fireworks before too in the past. And I just think that there's so many actual good organizations that do great work in the city of Compton, and that are here throughout the whole year. And I think that they should be rewarded with an opportunity like this to make some money to help their cause and to ultimately help the betterment of the community. And it's just discouraging to me sometimes when pop-up organizations or organizations who I've never seen do anything beneficial to better the community. Seeing them get the booths every single year, and I don't understand that, so that's just my personal opinion. Thank you guys for hearing me out.
Any additional discussion? Oh, Mr. City Attorney?
Yes, Madam Mayor, Council, at the request of the city clerk, I reviewed some of the applications for the fireworks, and I saw a lot of discrepancies with our ordinance. So when the matter comes, you're going to be seeing a request from staff to disqualify what appears to be several organizations. I would suggest, as long as we have the system, we have the ordinance on the books, that is the law and the rules for it being in the lottery, and the participants should look closely at the rules to make sure they adhere to them. Thanks.
Thank you. Roll call?
And this is to set the hearing. Councilperson Zarid?
Yes.
Galvan?
This is just for the hearing?
This is just for the hearing.
Yes.
McCoy?
Yes.
Sharif?
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
City Attorney's reports.
Thank you again, Honorable Mayor, Council, residents. Last week, I attended the City Attorney's Spring Conference for League of Cities, and one of the staples of this conference is the city attorneys from California get together, and we go over the lawsuits of the previous year that involve cities. So one, it's always good when your city is not part of the presentation for that section, and we weren't. But the conference went on for 2 days and Friday morning, and most of the issues I have personal experience with sitting in this chair, which just shows this is not a boring city, that's for sure. But we talk about employment issues. There is going by district, the lawsuits forcing now smaller cities as well as larger cities to change their voting system is expanding. There is a section on maintaining our trees and how that could be causing liability. There were some cities that have faced significant liability due to high winds and very bad weather as it involves trees. There's water sections, land use, CEQA litigation, etc. So very good conference, and I brought back information, and I'll be proposing updates through council as I prepare items. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Madam City Clerk?
Item number 6, under new business, is a resolution of City Council, City of Compton, approving the preliminary engineering report of Wildan Financial Services for the City of Compton sewer service charges for fiscal year 2018-19.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Mr. City Manager, could you describe this item? And I know that it's connected to the preceding items as well.
Yes, ma'am, Mayor and Council. This item is connected to several items that will be coming before the council tonight. It's a preliminary, it's actually something that we legally have to do every year, and it helps us assess charges to the district for the sewage and as well as landscaping lighting. This particular item pertains to the engineer's report that the district prepared, which sets forth the improvements in proposed assessments and charges. And the assessments and charges have been spread proportionally in accordance with the special benefits each property receives. In addition, the report is preliminary engineer's report, and it's subject to review and comment prior to adoption. A public hearing on the district is to be set for June 26, 2018, as prescribed by law. And the report contains changes from the previous year's assessments. For information and future consideration, reserve funds are typically maintained for proper maintenance and operations of the district. The reserves are collected as a part of the levy assessed against the parcels and can be increased through voter approval via Prop 218 proceedings. Through the information available, the levy has not been increased over the previous 5 to 8 years and thus reduces the reserve balance. The staff will review the operational costs for the budget year of fiscal 18-19, and there's a likelihood that we may recommend some moderate increases to the levy for consideration only.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 7 is a resolution of City Council, City of Compton, initiating proceedings for the levy and collection of assessments within the Compton Lighting and Landscaping District Number 1 for fiscal year 2018-19 and ordering the preparation of an engineer's report pursuant to provisions of Part 2 of Division 15 of the Streets and Highway Code.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? This item is connected, as described by the city manager, to the previous item. Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 8 is a resolution of City Council, City of Compton, initiating proceedings for the levy and collection of assessment within the Compton sewer service charges for fiscal year 2018-19 and ordering the preparation of an engineer's report pursuant to the Municipal Improvement Act of 1913, Division 12 of the California Streets and Highway Code.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? As is this item. Any additional discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 9 is a resolution of the City Council, City of Compton, approving the preliminary engineer report of Wildan Financial Services for the City of Compton's Lighting and Landscaping Assessment District Number 1 for fiscal year 2018-19.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Mr. City Manager, on this item as well?
Yes, it's the same item, except for June 26th.
Thank you. Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 10 is a resolution of the City Council, City of Compton, declaring its intention to levy and collect assessment and charges within the Lighting and Landscaping Assessment District Number 1 for fiscal year 2018-19, and appointing a time and place for a public hearing to be held on June 26, 2018 at 5:35 p.m.
So moved. Second.
Discussion. This item also is connected to the preceding items.
Right, and Madam Mayor,
Yes,
if the
ma'am.
city manager can just clarify that. It says District 1, but it's not District 1 of the city of Compton. Correct,
Yes.
City manager?
Correct, that's not just your district, it's for the entire city.
Yes. Thank you. Any additional discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 11 is a resolution of the City Council, City of Compton, declaring its intention to levy and collect assessment and charges within the sewer service charge for fiscal year 2018-19, and appointing a time and place for a public hearing to be held June 26, 2018 at 5:45 p.m.
So moved.
Discussion? Mr. City Manager, could you just give a description as to what these funds will be utilized for relative to the task force?
So the sewage collection service charges help the city maintain the sewage system here, and these hearings are for council to adopt the engineer's report and also allow public comment on the assessments and the levies that are going to be charged per parcel on these particular levies.
Thank you, sir. Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Sharif. Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 12 is a resolution of the City Council, City of Compton, authorizing establishment of a purchase order for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department to fund overtime for 3 task force teams in the amount of $104,212.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. For the record, could you clarify which items or which areas of focus the task force will be utilizing their resources for?
Yes, and also the captain is here. I may call him up. But very briefly, these are supplemental law enforcement funds that have to be spent before the end of the fiscal year. If you recall, several weeks, months back, in some cases weeks back, there was some discussion about illegal dumping task forces, as well as dealing with spikes in violent crime a couple of months ago. And with the summer months approaching, there's a possibility that we can experience the same level that we may have had in previous summers. Additionally, we'd like to take a look at the homeless issue that we've been dealing with. And then also I discussed earlier today with the captain about the traffic enforcement issues. And he has agreed and is willing to use some of these funds for traffic enforcement also.
Yes, please. Madam Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to ask one question, is that if there's any funds left over in this fund, how would that be utilized? What happens to those monies?
If there were funds left over, and there are not, we don't have any more from this particular budget. We'd have to return those funds back.
Back to the budget.
Right, and then we get those funds every year, but some of the funds were used for mitigation of lead from the range at the station, which is actually the city's structure over in the station. So.
Okay,
yeah.
so this is the end of those funds.
This is the end. We have to use these funds up or lose them.
Okay.
And then just also for the record, I'd like to request that some of the funds be utilized for human trafficking. It's a continual issue, and I think we need to make that option available as well.
Okay, I concur, and in fact, I'm glad you reminded. The captain and I talked about that also.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 13 is a resolution of City Council, City of Compton, approving a memorandum of agreement between the City of Compton and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local 2325, for fiscal years 2016 through 2019.
Discussion? Mr. City Manager, could you just give a brief description on this item as well?
Yes, ma'am. As everyone is aware, we've been in negotiations with the bargaining units here in the city for quite some time. Their previous contract expired in June of 2016. In April of 2018, the city and ASME met and ratified a tentative agreement. This particular item is brought to you to have council approval on that ratification. Over the past months, the city's been negotiating with ASME regarding salary and benefits. We've met with the members. Proposed MOU must now be approved by the council. The MOA is for a 3-year term and provides for the following pay bonuses and salary adjustments: a 3% salary increase effective July 1st, 2017, and a 3% salary increase effective July 1st, 2018. Health, dental, vision, and vacation benefits remain the same. There were no changes to the education incentives. Life insurance coverage for supervisory classifications increased to $80,000. In addition, the City Council approved through resolution the applicable holiday schedule. There's sufficient funding in the MOA for the MOA increases in salary for the fiscal year 2017-2018 with the combination of funds from the general fund, non-departmental contingency account number 1001-610-4294, and the salary savings from the first quarter vacant positions.
Thank you. Is there an update or a proposed date to bring forward the other units for council consideration or ratification, I should say?
As soon as they're available, we'll bring them forward. We're still in negotiations with the fire department.
Okay. Any additional discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 14, under approval of warrants, warrant number 244492, April 11th, DMD appraisals for 1119 South Alameda Street in the amount of $2,000 requested by the Water Department. Warrant number 244510, April 11th, government jobs for Insight Enterprise Software license fee, $8,400 requested by Human Resources. Warrant number 244536, April 11th, Prexar Distribution Services for cylinder rental in the amount of $27.25 requested by Public Works. Total amount of warrants is $10,427.25.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I have one question, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to refresh my memory, Mr. City Manager, with I'll just use DMD appraisals for an example. So the amount of this warrant is $2,000, which is under the signature of authority of the city manager, but the year-to-date is $20,500. Do we have a contract with them, or is that not necessary?
Yes, DMD appraisals are the ones who do our successor agency appraisals.
So we have a contract with them?
According to Mr. Adams, do we have a contract with them? We do, don't we? With the successor agency, yes.
So what about the next one? Anything that goes over the $49.99 for year-to-date, do we have to enter into a contract or not?
There should be a contract with them. This next one, so government jobs is where we get our, net NeoGov, when you do the portal to apply for jobs.
So we've spent $8,000 year-to-date, so do we have a contract with them?
We have to go out to negotiate a contract with them and put out a bid. They're really one of the only companies that do this, but we found out that this contract that actually had expired in 2009, I believe. So we had already used the service, and we had the billing. This is a late bill we need to pay.
Well, because the reason why I'm asking tonight is because it was also mentioned in the state audit about contracts and not having contracts with different companies. So my question is, I guess to the city attorney, if we overspend the $49.99, for instance, with cylinder rentals, it's not much. This warrant is $27.25, but year to date we spent $6,347. Is it required to have a contract or not?
It is required to have a contract. It is required to enter into whatever relationship the city has with a potential vendor prior to work being performed. When you see it as a warrant, typically it represents work that has already been performed.
No, I understand that, but
So the answer is yes, we should have had a contract, and if we had a contract, there would be no need to see it as a warrant. So now, because there's not a contract, council is ratifying the act of whatever is being represented so that the vendor can get paid. Right now, there's not a method to pay the vendor without council's approval because there hasn't been a contract entered into.
okay, so that there too falls on staff because I haven't requested any of this stuff. So, but I'm gonna vote on it tonight if I decide to vote on it. So my question is, I want to ask you, with no disrespect, are you aware of these payments being made and we don't have a contract? And you're legally okay with that?
I see warrants, for the most part, when you see warrants on the dais.
Okay, so then legally, how do I vote on this stuff and we don't have a contract?
Legally, you can ratify the action and approve what has transpired legally. At this point, I can't prepare a contract for work that's been done.
Okay, but staff should stop spending with these companies over $49.99, or the city manager should stop signing these checks over $49.99, because I'm not voting for them anymore.
So we had that discussion with the city attorney as well as the controller's office. These bills were paid before we even realized. They came to us after the fact, and as you guys recall, a couple of times we've asked for late billing to come in so we can get our invoices paid and close out our books. So when these bills come in, they may be months, weeks, or sometimes years overdue. In one case in particular, governmentjobs.com, unbeknownst to us, and this is that HR staffing problem, we had no idea that they were out of contract since 2009. But they are performing a service for us.
But, Mr. City Manager, that's fine. Whatever you just said, that's fine. But at the end of the day, this is another example of how the council is held accountable for staff's actions. And when you read the audit, I don't know if the staff reads the audit or not, but I can't support this kind of behavior anymore. Thank you.
We don't disagree, and I've submitted the entire controller's report to everyone, every employee in the city, and we've had staff meetings about it, particularly with the department heads and the accounts payable people.
And my request, and in line with Councilwoman Zarita's questioning, is for you as a city manager to hold the staff accountable. Because I've been a staff person and working for cities for over a decade, and I knew exactly what I was responsible to do. If I was overseeing contractors, I knew when that bill was due. It was never a surprise as to when these services or these bills were coming into the city. So everyone should be held accountable and responsible for overseeing the contracts or the services that they manage, and it shouldn't be a surprise when the bill comes. Or we've had issues, and this council gave the directive to ensure that all of the bills were being paid, or excuse me, that all outstanding bills were brought current. When we had the last controller, we gave everybody an amnesty period, an opportunity to get all of their bills up to date and to bring those items forward. And it was almost $1 million of bills that were not paid. And so here we are again, and when we see items like this, I don't know if we're current to date or not. Because if the service was already spent, or if it's a bill that's late, there are other services. Every department should be held accountable for managing what they're being paid to manage. These are city services, and they're responsible to oversee them. And if they cannot administer the city services, then we need to ensure that we can get people to properly administer these services. It's a part of your job description to ensure that these items are done. And again, I don't see staff's name in these audits, and it's actually their actions that this council is held accountable for. And so I concur with the statement by Councilwoman Zarita. I'm not supporting it any further. I believe in giving everybody an opportunity to get current. So we have a new controller. I know that in her last report to the council, this is one of the items that she was working on, is getting all the bills up to date. So I'm asking that as we move into the next fiscal year, that all bills are paid and that we're current. And there should be an internal list of all city services when these bills are due. There should just be a master accounting so that everybody's on one page as to when these bills are due, how they're paid, what the sources of funds are. It shouldn't be a surprise because, you know, having a run almost on the bank to pay these bills that are, and we're put in the position where the service has already been expended, and now the bill is either owed or is late. And it just shouldn't be like this anymore. And that's where we have to make some changes if we need internal purchasing, some kind of internal review. But items coming forward like this is just not acceptable. It's not.
Madam Mayor, and a thing further on that, it's more than that. What is happening is employees are actually requesting services before they have a requisition or a purchase order. And so we need to stop that practice, and we need to make sure that staff knows that we're not going to, they're going to be held accountable, you know, because we have to stop this. That's why this comes forward like this, because staff has approved it, has ordered the services before it actually is approved. That's what's happening.
And we've had issues like this, big and small, and I mean, we have discussed this behind closed doors, but I'm just saying it publicly that if there are any issues like this that arise in the future, that we're going to expect you to hold your staff accountable. And to me, that's just, there's no question, because at that point, they're taking the liberty to spend taxpayer dollars without approval. And let's just call it what that's exactly what it is.
That's right.
So if someone issues a notice to proceed, or they ask for a service, or they give somebody the approval without any proper authorization, they are now spending the city of Compton's taxpayer dollars as they choose. And that's completely unacceptable.
Right, because we're held accountable.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
I believe that the law supports when a city does not follow their process for engaging a vendor, that the city is not responsible for that bill. And I believe the responsibility shifts to the individuals that put the vendor to work. And that my belief has been tested in court, and and the judge has seen it the same way. So I think if I say that enough in the microphone, maybe some behaviors will change. And then we have to understand that business will have to slow down while we get a contract, while we get a purchase order, and we all have to be okay with doing it the right way.
And I'm just not of the opinion that things should really slow down, because we know when these contracts and these services are due. These are annual things that we're talking about. NeoGov, that's a regular service that the city needs. So why should the city slow down when people know that these services are due or that these bills are coming up? It's just about management. This is basic management, and people are being paid salary. We just approved another salary increase for management employees. This is management. This is management. So I don't have an expectation that things should slow down. I think that people should do what they're being paid to do, plan in advance. We know what the whole calendar year looks like. They should, as an employee, what I would do if I were in that position is I would map out every month I would know what's due. And if I knew that a contract expired, then I know 6 months in advance I need to start working on an RFP. I need to get approval. I need to focus on the bid package so that there is no lapse in service. And that does not happen currently. But people have to start planning in advance, because it's not acceptable for the taxpayers. They don't get amnesty when we get our tax bill. And I don't expect for my service to slow down when my tax bill doesn't slow down. So we need to catch up.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
And just to elaborate on what the city attorney stated, when those things happen, and also what all the council pretty much have stated, but if the people is not held accountable, just like he made a statement that it should revert back to the person that actually put us in that situation. But if you're not going to hold that person accountable for it, it's going to something that's going to continue over and over again. It's not going to stop until someone is actually
held accountable.
Used as an example. Once that happens, then that's when people start getting the message. But other than that, this is something that's going to always continue to happen.
Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
If I may, my last comment. The city attorney, you know, and I'm gonna keep harping on the audit, because the audit made a lot of statements that could get a council person that vote on items indicted. The staff will just say, another one gone, here come another one. But the city attorney, when I questioned the warrants and the amount year to date, you said, yeah, we should have a contract. It should be a contract and rectify. But how come you didn't make a statement about these warrants before I asked you a question about them? If they were legally done properly, should we be entered into a contract if we overspend $49.99 year to date?
It's not illegal for you to ratify those payments.
Well, based on but based on the statements that the audit said, we shouldn't do practice like this. And legally, I'm not an attorney at all. I don't have an eye for a legal eye or any of that. But I do know right from wrong, and this is easy math. And sitting here, I need somebody legally to look out for me based on these city issues, sitting at this dais voting on things, whether it be the city manager or whoever. But this should just not go by without any kind of legal statement.
Well, I can say that the item before you does not present any legal exposure to you as a council person.
I'm spending all this money and we're not in a contract.
You have a right to approve those expenditures.
Okay.
Now, what I spoke on is the process that does not represent best practice, that does not represent how we should be doing things.
But you didn't speak on it until after I asked you the question.
Because it's not exposure as it stands.
Okay.
Any additional discussion? Roll call.
Councilperson Zarita.
No.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Item number 15, under approval of warrants, is warrant number 244771, May 5th, Corporative Personnel Services for exams for recruitment process in the amount of $2,576.45, requested by Human Resources. Warrant number 244836, May 1st, Victor Sanchez, purchase of recognition plaques in the amount of $148.84, requested by CareerLink. Total amount of warrants, $2,725.29.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, Mr. City Manager, are we in a contract with either of these vendors?
I will have to go back and do some research on the personnel services one. With Victor Sanchez, he's a vendor that we do bids for. It's under $1,000, so we just go out and do requests for a proposal on those guys. Just get bid requests. But on the exams for recruitment process, I don't know for sure. Dr. Gill, do you know for sure? Okay, so we'll have to give some research on that one.
Okay. Thank you. Any additional discussion?
If we're gonna vote on them together, if we can vote separate, I'm not supporting the exam.
Okay.
Can it be brought back?
We'll just,
She wants to vote separately, right?
Yeah, if possible.
So the exams have already been done?
Yes.
Okay.
But my point, Councilwoman McCoy, is you can't keep spending the money with these vendors if you're not in a contract, whether the recruitments are done or not.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but the other side of that is we have not put anything in place prior to this to let the employees know that we were not going to tolerate this anymore. So the services have already been done.
Well, the mayor just said that we did, not too long ago, gave all the employees the opportunity to bring their old invoices, and it was almost $1 million. So we gotta keep telling them?
I think they said, have your outstanding invoices.
I mean, but do you have to keep telling employees that they don't know the policy and the process?
Well, let me just ask the city manager, have we put a process in writing, letting them know that from this point forward, okay, at this point, we're at the end of the fiscal year. There's no way we could do a contract or get anything in. But we need to put something in place to say, come next fiscal year, everything that will require a contract, we need to make sure it has a contract. And otherwise, when it goes over the $49.99, we can't use those services, you know.
Well, I think, the way this meeting is going tonight, I think the administrative interference policy needs to be changed, because it seems like that we're gonna have to direct staff to do everything.
We can't change the policy, that policy.
That's in the charter.
Yeah.
well, what I'm requesting from a policy standpoint is that, Mr. City Manager, you issue a written directive to your employees.
To the employees, right.
Citing the SOP, which clearly identifies what the purchasing policies are and every process to expend city money, and to let them know what the infraction will be if they violate the city's existing policies that are already in place.
Madam Mayor, let me go further. First of all, we need to identify who actually pays the bills and make sure that they are the ones that are notified, because I know as a former employee, oftentimes things that were given to the department manager didn't necessarily trickle down to the employee.
I think it should go to every city employee. I think every city employee should understand this policy, because employees, they move from position to position. Everybody should be on one page, and even from those employees that are receiving bills, everyone should just be on one accord, that this is the city's policy. It shouldn't be a surprise. And I would like to know if you can just report to the council, Mr. City Manager, what will be the actionable items for employees that violate this critical issue, because not only is it a violation of the taxpayers, but it's also an affront to the council members that are being unnecessarily exposed to risk and harm from just negligence. So I take it really serious.
So I agree. We had this discussion we meet weekly about the state controller findings, and so we had this discussion just last week with the controller as well as the city attorney. As far as the punishment is concerned, I will get with the city attorney and discuss that with him, because there was a comment that the person who actually encumbers or makes this purchase without approval can be held financially liable for that. Did I hear that correctly?
I think the list should be.
Not from city policy, but I'm saying a recourse for the vendor is to
go after
rely on whoever told them to do the work.
I see.
But they won't, we can prevent them from coming against the city.
And then lastly, I just want to, on this note, and this is my last comment, We should also include some legal disclaimers as part of the mandatory signature requirement for certain positions that are required or that are usually in place of doing these procurement processes, because in certain cities, they'll indicate that the city is not liable for any claim made by the employee, or if the particular clause is, if you do not have a city contract, you are not owed any. So whatever the particular verbiage should be legally, that should be included, because some people are walking around with a sense of autonomy that they do not have, and they're misrepresenting the city. And that's how these contract or these services are able to even occur, is based on one person's word that works in a certain position, and the vendor is obviously listening to what they're telling them and their promise to pay. But they don't have any legal weight to make those type of claims on behalf of the city. So we need to consider that as well, because we have no type of disclaimer going on currently in certain positions. That should be required.
Madam Mayor, we do
Yes,
have
sir.
a municipal code that addresses this subject as well.
Okay, so if you all can collaborate and cite the municipal code so that everyone is clear from internally and externally what the code is in our city.
Okay, and I'll send something back to you guys in writing.
Okay, thank you. A roll call?
Councilperson Zarita, you still want to vote separately?
I'm gonna vote two different ways, so if you can break it down, that's fine, if not.
Right, we can break it down. So I just need Councilperson Sharif and McCoy to withdraw their original motion. Okay. So warrant number 244771 for corporative personnel services for exams for recruitment process in the amount of $2,576.45.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
No.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Warrant number 244836, May 1st, for Victor Sanchez for purchase of recognition plaques in the amount of $148.84.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Your council comments.
Thank
Madam, Madam Mayor,
Yes, sir.
before we get to council comments, if we could reconsider item 12. I couldn't flip through my iPad fast enough to get to section 1, which specifically states for the use of the overtime funds, gang suppression, illegal dumping, and homeless outreach. We would need a amended motion to include human trafficking
Okay,
so that
Okay.
funds could be used for that as well.
okay.
So if we'd have a motion to reconsider.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy. Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
And item number 12, to include human trafficking in section 1.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Councilperson Zarita.
Yes.
McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.
Your council comments.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk and Mr. City Attorney. Councilwoman Zarita?
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Well, I'd just like to say that I think Central Avenue is coming along very, very nicely. If you pay attention, they first did a lot of curb work, and they did the ADA compliance with the corners, and I think it's going to look very nice. I'm very excited. I don't care about the delays. I don't care about not being able to turn in CVS. I don't care about any of that. I'm just happy to see that Central Avenue is being repaired. And I asked the city manager one day this week to report back to, he didn't initiate the project, but he got it out of dormant stage and got it moving. I want to thank you, Mr. City Manager, for that. And it just shows when you have a great administrative team, you can actually get things done. But my question was, why didn't we go all the way down to the Artesia intersection? So if you could report back in the next week or so why, or maybe if you could find that in the budget somewhere to get it down to that intersection, it would really look nice with that new development on that corner down there at Town of McCoy. And also, I want you guys to mark the date. I'm very excited. This will be my 5th annual Autism Adventure Swim Club. It's every Saturday morning starting on 6/9/2018 to August 11th, 2018. It's 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. at Gonzalez Park, which is at 1101 West Cressy. It's a very exciting program that I started here in the city of Compton, and we have several families that have been with us since the beginning. And to see the kids, when they first came 5 years ago, they were just terrified of the water. And now, last session, they were actually jumping off the diving board. It really was a tearjerker. And I want to once again thank Mr. Cecil Rambo for helping to keep the swimming pools open all season, and Parks and Rec staff recruiting lifeguards, because Cecil is lifeguard by heart. And we have always had a shortage of lifeguards, believe it or not, here in the city of Compton, and having the pool open year-round and actually doing lifeguard training, hopefully we'll have an overwhelming number of applicants for the swim season this year. And the only requirement for the families are that one of the guardians have to get in the pool with the kids. It's a family day, and the autistic kids get to have the swimming pool from 9 to 10:30, so they can just be who they are. You know, it's really a enjoyable event that I host here in the city of Compton, and it's all sponsored. One of our biggest sponsors is UPS. So another, I think that's pretty much it, and I want to just close in the memory of Leon Harper, who's a longtime resident of the city of Compton and also from the same hometown as my mother, Mobile, Alabama. And Leon will truly be missed. He was truly an activist here in the city of Compton. And also I want to close in the memory of Regesta, R-E-G-U-S-T-A, Whittaker, W-H-I-T-A-K-E-R.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Mayor Brown.
Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just have a few things. Mr. City Manager, I'm requesting that the Greenleaf Walk Park be groomed. I was walking the park and there was a lot of trash thrown around, and so I'm asking that you groom the walk park on Greenleaf in Wilmington. I want an update again on where we are with the traffic signal there at Greenleaf in Wilmington. I was passing there yesterday. It was another traffic accident. And so I know that you said it was about to go out, but
2 weeks out.
It's out already?
2 weeks out.
Okay, we have 2 more weeks before it goes out?
2 weeks before it comes to council.
Okay, 2 weeks before it comes to council. Okay, because, yeah, it's becoming more and more accidents. As I drive through, I see them, or the results of them. And is the tree trimming schedule online on our website?
Not yet.
Not yet. Could we please
They're
make
on
sure?
Alondra right now.
Okay, they're on Alondra, which part?
Going from, the tree trimmers are on Alondra going from the east city limit to the west.
Okay. I've had a lot of questions, so as soon as we can we put that on the website so that people can access it and know when it's coming there in their direction. And let's see. There's an illegal camper on Rosecrans just west of Central. I think it's the county strip. However, they're starting to pile all this trash and debris outside of the camper, and it is a health hazard. So I'm asking that someone go out there and see what they can do, cite them, and get them moved from that location. And let's see, that's all. I had a 5K run on this past Saturday. I want to thank you, Councilwoman Sharif, for coming out and joining me. The city manager and city staff participated, and it went really well. We left Centennial High School about 8 a.m. and we kind of cut it short. We didn't go all the way to the actual town center because of traffic hazards, but we stopped at Tucker Park, but it still gave us the amount of miles that we needed for the 5K run. And I want to thank staff. Thank you very much. You did an outstanding job, and I look forward to my next one next year. And I also attended on that day the 95th birthday for Miss Amy Peters. Happy birthday again, Miss Peters. She was 95, and she had an outstanding party. She was surrounded by family, but it was about 70 plus family members that were there for her just to celebrate her birthday. So happy birthday again, Miss Peters, and the family, they just loved on her and showed her that her 95 years of value. And on yesterday, I went to Laurel Elementary School. They received an award from the state superintendent, a civics award. They have a 5th grade class that actually was interested in civics, and a couple of months ago, they invited me to the school because they wanted to know how to get things done in the city. And their biggest complaint, of course, was the potholes, but it was also the trash and debris. And these were 5th graders, and so they presented they went further, and they had a lot of, they did papers on a lot of different civic, concerns that concerned them. And it was on DACA, it was on, but they won the state award, and the Justice Liu came down and presented them with this award, and it was outstanding. And then I went by to see Volunteers of America to see what they have going on there. And they have a lot going on. There are a lot of services there, and I plan to partner with them to do something for the homeless. So that's all I have.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Sharif?
Thank you, Mayor Brown. The Los Angeles County and the City of Compton are hosting a free household hazardous waste collection on Saturday, May 19th, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Compton College. That address is 1111 East Artesia Boulevard. You can come and take all of your household hazardous waste and e-waste items to the free roundup. If you need to call and get any information, for information, you can call 888-253-2652. That's 888-253-2652. Thank you. And Mr. City Manager, could you please provide a status on the pothole repair request located at 300 through 800 block of Pearl? That area is really in bad condition when it comes to the pothole. I know that we're supposed to be doing some pothole rehabs. So, yeah. So would you just keep me abreast of that and just give me let me know when that will be taken care of? And also, we have pothole repairs on Cypress between Santa Fe and Mayo that need to be done as well. And now my office is also receiving complaints about the street sweeper not sweeping the curbs on the 1100 South Block of Atlantic Drive in Carwell. That's address is 1100 South Block of Atlantic Drive in Carwell. So if you could please follow up on that for me. Yes, yes, yes. And when I made this statement in regarding the Planning Commission about being fair, I'm not talking about fairness to myself, I'm talking about fairness to this community. I'm requesting an item to be brought back, be brought forth to restrict the appointment process of each district to each district. The reason I am requesting this information is because it leads to improprieties and the possibility of corruption when you have one or two people that's actually controlling and making all the appointments for any one commission, especially on the Planning Commission. And I think that's, to me, it's very serious. I think it also put us in a bad, could also put the city in a bad situation when you have one or two more people that are monopolizing the commission to give the opportunities of corruption. So I'm asking that you do bring something back so this council can vote on this and so we can discuss it. Because when you have someone here that's clearly saying that they have the control of this board, that's a concern for me. So I'm saying, I think we need to bring this back and the council really need to discuss this. Because when you have a planning commission that's actually making the decisions that they are making, we need to be very concerned about what's happening on that planning commission. Thank you.
Thank you, and I support that item coming back, Mr. City Manager and City Attorney.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I have to thank the Commission for Women and the Deltas. They also supported my run, so thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't
going
do the
back
run,
to
I did the walk.
Yeah, we did the walk.
Awesome. But yeah, I support this item coming back. It's really serious when we're talking about land use issues, and as someone that has served on a planning commission, it's best practices for all cities to have one actual designee or appointee per district or per elected representative, so that there is no opportunity for collusion or no opportunity for one person or for two people to control a body that makes land use and financial decisions on behalf of the city. So I don't take Councilwoman Sharif's comments lightly. We need to do better. We need to do things differently. And just because it's always been done some way doesn't mean it's right. So I'm asking for that item to come forward. Councilwoman Sharif, do you have any additional items?
No, thank you, Mayor Brown.
I'm going to just be really brief. We had our annual prom dress giveaway this past Saturday, and a huge thank you to the Positive Results Corporation and founder Candy Lewis, who hosted this awesome event with us. And nearly 200 young ladies were welcome to shop in the pop-up prom boutique with more than 700 dresses, shoes, purses, and makeup to choose from. Thank you to all of the sponsors, women who donated items, volunteers, and parents that made this day possible. And I also want to give a special thank you to Ms. Kyra Joe, who is the daughter of Kiera Joe, who works for Assembly Member Gibson and also has served in the city of Compton, and our Compton residents, for providing her free makeup services to the young ladies on that day. It was really a beautiful event, and also a big thank you to Marshalls, who donated their infrastructure to make the pop-up shop look like an actual department store. It was really, really nice. And over this past weekend, I had an opportunity, after I left our prom dress giveaway, to participate with the United States of Women, and it was a huge convention that had a host of speakers, including our forever First Lady, Ms. Michelle Obama, and we discussed the future of our nation and also the impact of women of color in politics. And it was an honor to represent the city and also women of color and also the millennial generation in talking about the future of our nation and how we need to mobilize in order to let our voice be heard. So for those of you that utilize social media, that information is also available on all of our platforms. And I'll skip that part. I just want to follow up on a few outstanding items before we close. The city's lighting pilot project, there are some outstanding items that were supposed to be brought forward by General Services, and so I'm asking for the item to be reviewed and brought forward to the council. It's been pending for a couple of months now, and I'd like to be able to wrap that up, as anytime we have a company offering to provide some in-kind services, we need to act on it, especially for the benefit of the residents. So I'd like to ensure that we're doing our part. Next up, another general services item, the agreement for the county for maintenance. We are not only talking about the Civic Center area, but also for some of these county alleyways that we are continually responding and providing service, as well as securing the Compton Creek on Rosecrans. That item is still outstanding from the last time that I passed by, which was a few days ago. Again, I'm just saying publicly, this is a liability issue. I don't know if someone falls into the creek or if there is an issue at the creek, who's legally liable, and not even talking about public safety. So if it's the county's responsibility, we need to have them do some emergency response. If it's our responsibility, we need to respond. And it's still, that item should not be outstanding for several weeks. We've been discussing the same item for the last 3 weeks. So I'd like to be able to ensure that we can protect that area. And then I'm just following up on, I understand that now we're in the budget cycle, but I'm looking forward to
reviewing code enforcement in their department, where they are currently, what services they're able to provide, and what the needs are, so that we can make some critical budget decisions, because code enforcement really dictates quality of life for our residents, and we have some serious issues that we need addressed, and we have an opportunity to do that in this next budget cycle. So I'd like to be able to figure out what our viable options are for some of these continual issues. And we will now close and adjourn in the memory of Mr. Leon Harper and Ms. Regesta Whitaker. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to make sure that that everybody understood the request that I'm making. It was directed at the city attorney, so hopefully he can bring something back. Thank you.
Hold on. What are you asking for?
I actually bring back an item. Be brought back an item to restrict the department process to each district for the planning commission.
Bring back what was voted on for that?
No, a resolution to come forward that distinguishes that each elected representative on the council appoints one member of the planning commission. Like in other commissions where, for instance, each council member or the mayor has a specific appointee, she's asking for continuity for the planning commission.
So an ordinance that changes how we select planning commission members.
Yes.
Thank you.
And if we can just make it consistent for all the commissions, that would alleviate a lot of the issues as to some commissions allow for each council member to make it a designee and some do not. So if we can just have some continuity.
That's going to be a minute.
Okay.
There's a lot of commissions.
Okay, I'd like to fast track planning
So
just
you
for the
want
future.
planning?
I didn't know they had to be done individually. I didn't know we.
They're listed individually.
Oh, okay. Okay, we can do planning first.
And then the rest, that's fine. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, those are the items that have to deal with like land use or financial issues. Thank you. May we have a motion? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Thank the Oversight Committee for participating in the 5K.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. May we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson McCoy.
Yes.
Sharif.
Yes.
Mayor Brown.
Yes.